everybody, and welcome. Um, I had a plan, of course. My plans never happen exactly how I set them out to because, well, the World Cup game was absolutely amazing. So I didn't get to cut up everything how I wanted to. So we're gonna do the best we can today. I got some very special guests here today to talk about some. Well, a little bit of everything fantasy, I guess, going on. We'll see where it goes, right? So thanks for coming. I'm not going to leave them in the back too long. So first thing, let's welcome the first one in, the traveling man himself, Mr. Salty Traveling Sea. How are you, sir?
I'm all
Welcome.
right. You and I ripped that thing, that video where I had to leave the bar to help you process this. And I've watched that video, and I gotta say that was probably one of the best things we've done working together. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Brandon Sanderson said in the context of it. I really
Yeah,
am.
yeah, me too. I haven't. I've watched pieces of it because I was hoping that the plan was to cut some like a super cut together, but of
Yeah.
course, World Cup ruined that by being awesome. So, but we're gonna do
Yeah.
the best we can. I got a little surprise for you guys before we start, but with
Ooh, I
that,
hope
so
it's
we'll see.
money.
But
Is it
so
money?
so
Money.
also the man, the man himself
Oh,
is here.
he's bringing sexy
Smoke
back. Look at
smoking a
this.
pipe with
Jesus.
one of the
Right.
best beards on the internet, right? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I'm still coming down from listening to the World Cup too. I was in the car listening to it on the radio, and it was
Dude,
off the hook.
what a game,
Just
man.
amazing. I'm
What a
looking forward to
game.
watching the replay tonight.
Yeah, it was the highlights. It worth every minute of it. It was man, what a game. So especially for anybody that enjoys soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. It's football, but I'm American, so I'll call it soccer.
It's
But
freaking
it's
awesome.
football. It's football. So and then of course my streaming brother, Nerdporials of Amazon. Are you
Wow.
an Amazonian Nerdporial now? What's up?
Hey, Steve.
Hey.
That's who I identify as because once again, I'm from Chicago. I get easily triggered if you get it wrong. So please get it right. Own your mistakes.
I hear that you lick a lot of envelopes at the post office, Brian.
I did, and you know what?
Yeah.
I got in trouble for it, and I take responsibility.
Can't stand you. Can't stand you.
For shame. Shame.
I want to say
Library.
real quick.
I wasn't at the library. I was at the post office.
Oh, okay, my bad. Purple Valkyrie, how are you doing? Good to see you. Louis here. How are you? Good to see you too. This guy's here. Whatever he is, I don't know why I even clicked on that. Dempsey has found the new emojis.
Sweet.
The dumb and the rage emojis that were requested. So thank you guys for all being here. Hopefully some more people filter in.
Good comment.
I was gonna get, so I won't hear me say this much. I hope you two were wrong. I want this show to be good for you guys. Well,
You're gonna ruin this whole experience by just telling them what you think now, or should we watch this?
Well,
it's your call.
I mean, we're gonna watch at least the end of it where he gives his ratings because we're not gonna sit here for hours and hours and look over it. But I watched some pieces of it of this clip of this.
I haven't,
and
I didn't cheat.
I skimmed through it because, well, like I didn't want to come in completely unprepared and didn't want to force you guys to sit here for 3 hours because we're stopping every 5 minutes. But it sure sounds like Sanderson is not saying too many good things about the Rings of Power, and then he says some other things in passing about the Wheel of Time that aren't too favorable. We'll say, but I don't know. We'll see. He makes some faces at the end and says some things, and I don't know if I took it out of context because I saw it randomly, but I don't know if any of you watched. I'm sure Napoleon hasn't quite got into the Sanderson stuff with Wheel of Time yet.
Can we show and not tell? Can we watch this and react?
Yeah. Well, first
Okay.
I have to show something else first, my friend, because I teased you guys with it. I was trying to give some people some time to get in here, but
well, then tell me to shut up. Because I want to see this. I remember all this shit that I took. And you and I argued about this about a year ago when Sanderson said the stuff that he did, and you didn't think he went far enough. And I was defending Sanderson back then and saying maybe he's playing some 4D chess, maybe he's just trying to play the game a little bit. And so it's interesting to see the sort of a change here with some of this. Oh fuck these.
So this is this is not this is the surprise content. Gotcha.
Oh fuck this.
And you gotcha. So this is from the Q&A. No. You have to. So I don't know. Has anybody seen this Q&A part? I only saw it because of Pips and the White Cloaks.
I only saw part of it. I haven't watched the whole thing. But does anybody find this ironic that the two people that are interviewing the absolute liberal hose bag of Rafe Judkins have their pronouns in their name, but the motherfucker doesn't himself?
So it's funny because I of course I apologize to Pips over at White Cloaks again. I was going to be on the whole thing. I slept through most of it because it was an overnight. I made it just for the end to not only see this part, but I made the same observation. The he they down there, of course, put his pronouns in there. Whatever he they is, but Rafe, man, I was triggered.
You know who he looks like? Looks like Odin.
I know Odin. If Odin had an eating, he looks like if Odin had an eating disorder. That's what he looks like.
Holy crap! Daniel, he's even got little pins on his shirt. What a
it's these people are like, I've watched a few of these now. Yeah. Daniel, you'll be happy to see there is a rage emoji now, and there is a dumb apple. Per your request, sir. So enjoy those for being a member, sir. I appreciate you being here.
You know what's really obvious is that Rafe likes to eat the carbs. Rafe is definitely a pasta eating man. Look at this guy.
I read he was on Survivor.
That's his big claim to fame. He didn't survive Survivor apparently. But the reason so I had to get your guys' reaction to it because there is a great short that Pips clipped of me. My tired reaction to it. So I would love to, since you guys have not seen this, just to preface, they're tickling each other's a-holes, talking about how they're shifting. I'm so done with these people. Talking about how they're shifting away from Twitter of time, and Rafe is basically saying how great. And how nice the fandom is, the Wheel of Time. They're all so nice and wonderful. Stop tickling each other's buttholes. Like you see, this butthole is. What is happening?
This is my Rafe Judkins imitation. Come here, give me a show. Give me God of War. I'll get the tongue if I get God of War.
Up, Vic?
That's
been a while.
It. Hail, Vic Rattlehead in.
How you doing?
And he always looks like he just walked out of a sauna in a trash bag.
He always looks so disheveled and horrible, right? I mean, what is the deal? Like, take a shower.
Like just fresh from a session with his boyfriend in Morocco.
Oh my God, triggering. They did not appreciate that, sir. But so
he probably did. They probably did.
So I really, really wanted to see, especially Salty and Nathan. Nerporial will probably have something to say about it, but because he knows us.
I can't wait for Brian to watch season 1.
Monday. We're starting Monday night.
I will break my vow to not watch it, just to be there for you, Brian, because it's a special kind of a-hole tickling experience.
It's like a rite of passage, right? So
it's like having your nuts ripped off. That's what it's like. Let's be honest.
That's a hell of a rite of passage.
Yeah. So here we go. Are you ready? Here it comes. I think I got the sound on. All right, we're going to start this. Here we go.
Giada would like to know if you could help give the Wheel of Time fandom an official name.
Okay, so look at first she's got the crazy eyes to the max, right? Like look at crazy eyes over here.
I know. I can tell you what they called me. They called me an incel. They called me toxic and a racist and a misogynist. That's what Rafe already called the Wheel of Time fan.
Well, no, Twitter of Time is so nice. Watch, here it comes. Hold on, Twitter Time. Here
what would you call us?
I mean, I feel like, is it because we're moving away from Twitter? Twitter of Time, I feel like, has been a nice name for the fandom. And I don't know if you guys know this, but like they do
really gay.
They do like, these sort of like statistics on different fandoms for big projects like this. And And the Wheel of Time fandom is statistically the best fandom.
Yes, we are. We actually are, Rafe. That's why we hate your dog shit non-adaptation. You ass clown. You threaten us. You threaten us on social media because we say we just want to see the books. And then you call us racist. And then you call us misogynist. And then you say, you know what? F you, fans of Robert Jordan. If you don't like it, I'm going to change the gender and race and sexuality of characters throughout the books just because you don't like the shit I've made.
And look at the faces of these two freaking numbskulls. They're just like, oh, I'm gonna lap it up. Whatever you put out on the plate there, Rajanor.
Well, number one, what you got to look at for Mr. He They is the four porgs he's got on his shelf back there.
Wow, I wonder what they smell like.
Yeah, so
I wonder where they go.
Wait, there's porgs? Where?
You see there's 3 porgs on his top shelf next to his Mandalorian helmet. What do you think of that, Nerporio? Huh?
Bad taste. Just bad taste. Why would I care to hear what this guy has to say? I mean,
Vic, those things from
from whatever that the movie that should not be named. Vic Rattlehead, 4 months a member, Dragonsworn. I think second or third. Well, no, one of the first members of the channel. Thank you, Vic. Thank you for being.
I have something I need to share to Vic. You know, after I became a member of the Dragonsworn, my life just got infinitely better. Like, I had the confidence at my interview to land myself a direct hire job within a day. A day. There's nothing dumb about that. There's nothing dumb about that. It's true. I got the offer the next day, and look at me. I'm back at work. Within a week, I'm already back at work. So
true. So Vic says, with a member chat for 4 months of being a Dragonsworn, Rajanor deserves alone time with book Semirage. Yeah, I think that would be very good. Some torture is well, he might like that. So we're not going to go there. But
probably worried about the idea for the torture wheel.
Oh well, you know, he's still. I think that's still in his living room. So if that got you going, Mr. Salty, just you wait. Here comes the meat and giving it to you raw.
Oh, the meat that's gonna slide between Rafe Judkins' buns.
If you have not seen this, and I have to say again, I wouldn't have seen this if it wasn't for Pips and the White Cloaks. So hit the White Cloaks up, give them a sub and watch them because we love Pips. Here we go. You ready? You strapped in? Here it comes.
We have proof, scientific proof.
Like, in terms of being kind and positive, like for our show, I know there's the crazies, but like it's something like 70% of people who've read all 14 books think the show is as good.
Oh, that is an absolute lie.
So I can't wait. I can't wait now.
Oh my God.
So wait, did you hear the whole thing? Hold on, let me back it up. As good or better?
Oh, jeez.
As good or better?
Nathan, you go first. You go first.
The show is as good or better than the books, which is a crazy number.
You fucking liar.
It's a made up number. It's not. There's no fucking way. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, if he says so, I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the show.
Right.
What are you guys talking about? He might be right. If he says so, the showrunner, it must be true. Remember how Brian Johnson said, "Yeah, Last Jedi is a great movie."
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the guy on the bottom of the screen doesn't look like he even believes that statistic.
No, the guy in the bottom's going, that's a hell of a lie right there, Rafe.
Right.
That's what that is. That's a hell of a lie.
I mean, honestly, that is typical leftist propaganda bullshit. We're just going to throw out a statistic without any proof behind that whatsoever. We're just going to go through what I feel, and that was the key word that he said with the initial question. His first words out of his mouth was, "I feel like, you feel like you have a French tickler perpetually up your butt.
Yeah.
Go away."
I mean, it's like, go ahead, go.
I was just going to say, so we talked about this. Now, it seems like a million years ago. The wounds are almost healed, but don't worry, that scab will be ripped off real quick. We talked about the fortification that Amazon did with their ratings, and that they would not allow ratings to be posted, that they have it at 5 stars for like 6 months, and then suddenly it catastrophically fell to 2.5 from 5 as soon as this bullshit narrative stopped. So that's a metric that I would look at. And if you looked at the comments on Amazon, you would see that the people who hated this were the ones who actually read the book. Now, we did a video, the three of us, sorry, Nerd Pearl, you weren't into this in the beginning, where we talked about the, oh shit, I just got stream brain. Wow. Never mind.
I was going to try and help you, but we've done several videos together, so
I totally had a brain meltdown. This is a real thing, guys. This is a real thing.
It's because you're looking.
Oh, no. So what it was who was the show made for? Who was the Wheel of Time made for? What did Rafe Judkins say? It is not made for people who read the books. It is not made for people who love fantasy and love Tolkien and like to read other fantasy books. It is the Wheel of Time was made for the audience that doesn't like science fiction or fantasy. And that's who they made the Wheel of Time for.
So Daniel says, notice that she only says scientific proof, and he knows what she is referring to. Definitely knew all the questions ahead of time. Oh yeah, definitely, 100%.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Like two genders, scientific proof.
Hey, what's up, Nas? What's going on, buddy? Moose bowl of men on the panel. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, there's so much balls in here, we can't even move around. The whole room is full of balls. It's crazy.
Nerdportal for $2. Thank you. Oh my god, Rafe is such a dumb apple. Watch him tomorrow. Yeah, you're gonna. How you doing, Jacob? Welcome.
We're gonna regret every second of that.
Oh my god. And I think that's the but like to have the audacity and to be such a like to say that out loud and think that maybe he doesn't think we're
he doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit about this anymore, Steve. He doesn't care about this. You know why? He already got his movie deal with Uncharted. He's already running another show, God of War, which he's going to drive into the ground. And you heard it here first. But Kratos, and thank you for this is my thumbnail where I put Rafe Judkins' face on Kratos. This is what his energy is going into. He's already said that he's going to walk away, he said, after season 2. So he's done already. Season 2's in the can. He has moved on to destroy yet other heterosexual Caucasian toxicity.
Mhm.
That is why he's getting work. Rafe Judkins is there for the ESG trans agenda. That is why he's there. Sorry, go ahead, Nathan.
No,
they've already finished writing season 3.
Yeah. Did he say he's walking away after 2? Did he say?
Yeah, he said he was going to read. He said well, they were saying there was a chance he was going to be done at the end of season 2 to focus on God of War and other theater and theatrical release experiences after the success of Uncharted, which lost money because this is Hollywood after all. It
was a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. So let me go ahead and put the dumb apple back up for him, and I'm gonna hit play again. Just make sure we're through this nonsense because
it's not a lot of the online community necessarily who interact with it, but like of the wider world of people who, love Wheel of Time, like consistently statistically, Wheel of Time will come in and like deliver that it's like the nicest, the most welcoming, like all of these things.
We are
really.
You're the problem, asshole. You are the problem, and that's it. You're subverting, you're disrupting, you're pushing ESG. You were a talentless no one whose credits truly were destroying Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's what you did. And then you lost on Survivor. But for whatever reason, and I have resisted talking about certain things in this man's background, because we've decided not to go down that road. But there's an interesting parallel as to all those people who have not a sexuality choice, but a belief system choice that are suddenly getting all of these fantasy franchises and doing the exact same thing. Now, I'm not going to speak it out loud because I don't know what it means. but it is consistently out there, and I don't understand what it is. I don't.
Nos is right. A beta male directing one of the most masculine, brutal characters ever. It's gonna rule. That sums it up right there, and that's exactly that's exactly right, because it's like
He's gonna have a female counterpart telling him what he needs to do.
Yeah.
And bitch and moan at him the whole fucking time.
Kratos' son will be a daughter or a they them. This is where we've entered now. There is going to be no father-son relationship, and if it is, it's going to be a bad dad trope, and Kratos' son is going to be gay. Watch him age up the son. That's all he can do is age characters up.
Yeah, and I heard Ragnarok kind of did away with that. Like the 2014, the what I call God of War 4 on PS4 had that dynamic father-son relationship. That was like the driving force of that game. It's the part I loved the most. That was the aspect I loved the most. And then this sequel, Ragnarok, just did away with it.
Yeah. Purple Valkyrie is the one who we did a live stream about 6 months ago when we found out Rafe was going to do this, and Max was there, and I think Nathan was there, and we talked about this. We knew this was going to happen, but now look at the way the world has moved in the last 6 months. It has not gotten better. It hasn't in our entertainment, and there's no reason to think that trajectory is going to change. That is not black pill. That is called being red pilled. You know, if you can steal your heart and control what you put in your mind, they can't hurt you. You can laugh at it, or you can ridicule it, or you can yell like me, who's kind of an idiot, but I don't know.
Hey, we're four idiots. We're all good.
We're dumb apples. We're dumb apples.
Dumb apples, exactly. We're dumb apples. No,
Steve.
wait. Yeah, well, I'm the dumbest apple of them all. But Daniel says Rafe is a useful tool for people behind the agenda. If it wasn't Rafe, it would be literally any random person they picked up at a gay bar at 2 a.m. So yeah,
Probably.
I mean, just
Probably.
basically restating what Salty said. I mean, because it's like you find the most feminine guy to do the most manly guy. Like,
did you notice Rafe's affectation? I've seen him speak before. I have never seen him act so femmy on a stream talking about a show. Now, I'm not judging, I'm observing. Now, I don't know if that's because he's trying to hit on the they, them on the bottom of the screen who looks like anorexic Odin. No,
I got rid of that
Odin.
fast. We got through the clip I wanted. We didn't need to look at that anymore. So,
but I mean, it's just, again, it's posturing. It's weird posturing, and I don't get it. Everybody is going to lie. They're lying about the Rings of Power. They're lying about the box office for Avatar 2. That all they can do is lie. They lie to themselves and they lie to each other. And of course they're going to lie to us.
The only thing that they can hope for is just getting those percentages or those numbers higher, lying as they about them being higher, so that either develops rage clicks or it gets the numbskulls out there to go and check out the show and then tune off after the first 3 episode dump of the season that you had like last year, when everything plummeted off right after that.
Yeah,
I gotta ask this Nerdporial. You haven't seen 1 second of season 1. You just got done reading The Eye of the World.
Well, here's the thing. I did watch a little bit of it because I did read Eye of the World about four years ago, roughly, I think. And so I wanted to see how it looks. So I saw the Trolloc. The Trolloc looked awful. I tuned out. And then, of course, I actually did follow up. I did, follow on, they announced it. It was still when I was reading IGN, I was a sweet summer child then. So what can I say?
Yeah, where we are.
But I saw the casting choices, and I saw what they did, and I was just thinking they're doing this again. I was just like, it's probably not gonna. If they're doing this, and even back then, I was like, it's not gonna be good.
Well, I think it's one of the biggest detriments to any show that is adapting something is when you go back and read the source material. If you don't picture those characters as the characters you're reading or listening to, then you've done a terrible job with casting. And I'm literally in Crown of Swords right now. I'm started reading through it again.
I mean, if you're gonna make you're gonna make the Emmons Fielders a particular complexion, I mean, they're in an isolated part of I forget what do they call the world or the land of the continent of Wheel of Time.
There was actually we call it Randland because he never named it.
Randland. Okay, Randland.
Yeah.
You would figure all the people, since they're all like related to each other, all descendants of Manetheren, that they'd all share, common ancestry, common traits.
Right.
Whether it's physical or,
That only
Our,
works in
cultural-
Wakanda. That only works in Wakanda.
See, that's the thing. Like, not to go off on a Wheel of Time tangent, or if we want to, we fucking can. I don't care. But it's like we've said it a million times. It's the forced diversity that we all hate. The world is so large and there's tons of places to put different people, different type diverse characters. You visited half the world in season 1. You could have had, Asians in freaking the Borderlands. You could have had. I mean, you just chose to make Edmonds Field, one of the least visited places in the world, a melting pot instead of Andor, Camelin, the White Tower. That's where you should be getting a diverse grouping of people. Otherwise, you should be able to go, hey, that's an Asian guy. That guy's from the Borderlands. I can tell that guy's from there. I can tell that's a Damani. I can tell that's an Andoran. But you can't. Right, so because it's all forced,
and therefore you've eliminated any bit of storytelling that could increase the depth of your world when you go and visit those places, because everybody looks like everybody.
So maybe I'll make a poll, but I need to make. So I'm thinking most of the people in chat have read the Wheel of Time. Okay, I'm gonna make a poll to find out if my chat, our chat, because we are all friends here.
It's yours. I don't want anything to do with them.
Who are all book readers, thinks the show is just as good or better than the books. So just vamp for me for a minute.
I will. I'm not going to make this about me, but I'm going to make this about me.
Go.
So the very first Wheel of Time video I did was in June 8th of 2021. It's about 6 months before the show came out, and I started to cover what they were saying with the casting announcement. Now, at the time, my channel wasn't even 6 months old. I had like 100 subscribers, if even that. And I remember I walked away from this video and I had like 46 views, and as we got closer to the Wheel of Time release, it started to creep up. And then there's this huge barrage of what appeared to be a very coordinated attack started for people who were being critical of before the show came out, about saying it wasn't accurate to the source material, things along those lines. Now that video now has over 7,000 views, which is light for Wheel of Time with the stuff that everybody was doing back then. But my point with all that is that we knew well in advance what they were doing. They told us what they were doing. And the article that I covered said, well, it only makes sense. It only makes sense that the Wheel of Time looks like the world we live in now. It needs to reflect a modern audience. It needs to have diverse characters. We need to have a woman whose mole is as big as a cheeseburger on the side of her face to play, Egwene. And Nynaeve, of course she has to look like Bob Marley's daughter because, again, of course. And, the lies started well in advance of when this goddamn show was released, and they're never going to stop, just like the lies with Star Wars, the lies with Star Trek, or Paramount Trek, or New Trek, and the lies with the MCU. I mean, that's all they got.
Yep. So real quick, Dempsey's asking, since we were talking about I'm not going to ask who we think Rafe would cast as Kratos, but what would could you guys have a dream casting for Kratos? I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. But
how about nobody? How about not make the show?
I agree.
I'm right there with you. But
I'd rather just play the game. That's it.
A second to that, and what we're probably going to get. And you guys think I'm joking. There's no reason this won't be a non-binary person. There's no reason that Rafe Judkins at this point will not take a biologically born female and make it Kratos. Because stop the transphobia. These shows are platforms for agenda. The newest agenda thing is climate change and trannies. That's it. What do you think Marvel Phase 5 is going to be about? Now, I would love to be wrong. And if I sound like an istinophobe, I'm not. What I am sick of this shit. I am so beyond sick of this shit. And I think a lot of you are too. You can make your shows that reflect all of those values, but continuing to deconstruct and disrupt toxic blah, 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 blah. It's getting old, and they're doing it just to cause the response that I'm giving them. And that's why I walked away from my channel for a time, because these assholes don't know what they want, but they want to hurt us. They want to hurt me just because of the way I look. because of my age, because of my sexuality, because of my belief system. They're making these shows to wound us.
That's to quote Michael Caine from The Dark Knight. Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, I think that's dead on. But Nerporials being a gifter again. Thank you, my friends.
I was expecting something cruel, like a gifting ass clown or something.
I'm not. Well, here I'll give
weirdo,
you the dumb, here being a dumb apple. I should have put the rage. No, that would cover you up. But thank you again. You're just blowing me away in the generosity war. Sam McCabe, thanks, buddy. Lurking in the chat. Hi to all the lurkers out there. I know how you feel. I'm a professional lurker myself. But so well said. I just but let's see here. Let me make sure. Let me get this shared up here. Because I did,
do you guys think I'm crazy? Do you guys think I'm just being an asshole? Because this is not for effect. I'm not doing this as an act. I mean, do you guys
crazy,
think I'm over the
reasons.
top? I know I am, but I mean, like, for this reason. I mean, honestly, it's guys. I mean, if you have another explanation, please tell me. I would love to.
I don't know anymore. Like we were talking about that before. Is like I don't have a good explanation. Sorry, go ahead, Nathan.
No, what it is it's proving to a lot of people that the same feelings that they have are the same feelings that you've got, and that we're not crazy, that we're actually really grounded in what our expectations are for our fantasy shows. We're not wanting any reality or modern day isms stuffed into our media. We want to be entertained. We want to be pulled out of the doldrums of daily life and to be transported into a world where we can just be entertained and enjoy the story, the hero's journey, whatever stories are in there, love stories, action flicks, whatever. We want to be transported into those things. And so when you come to movies like Die Hard, you have a visceral investment in the movie to watch that motherfucker drop from the 33rd floor and hit the ground. You want to see those things. And that's what they want to continue to subvert. It's not about subverting expectations. It's to destroy your expectations and to destroy the things that you hold dear. It's that is watching the world burn. That is what they want. They don't want what Brandon Sanderson writes in his books to become this absolute great presentation of pure fantasy. They're going to want to take his stuff and they're going to want to burn it to the ground for the fans that they hate.
I agree. And Brandon, sorry, go ahead, Nerd Pearl, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, like I agree with everything Nathan just said. I mean, they want to take away the timelessness of what we're getting out of the entertainment, and the thing is, it's the timelessness. It's like, we go. The timelessness is what allows us to not only be invested, but to like escape, like everything else, escape and just enjoy that basic human. Just basically that basic human condition that brings everybody together, that connects us as human beings.
Yeah.
When they take that away, it becomes soulless. It becomes soulless, and it becomes trite, and it becomes, in my opinion, boring and not worth writing. As William Faulkner once said, if you cannot write about the conflict of the human heart, then there's nothing. Then it's not worth being written. Period.
Perfectly.
That's paraphrased, of course, but that's something that was, mentioned quite a bit by a certain author who will die before he finishes his book series.
What series?
But he'll probably buy another train. So
he'll buy another train. He's gonna write a Game of Thrones musical. He's gonna write a video game. There's gonna be a Broadway show. Like I said, musical. There's gonna be a Game of Thrones anime.
So real quick, so Killer 8000, since it looks like, welcome back. Thank you for coming. And David, thank you for your comments. You got a lot of chat.
Okay. I have a confession to make. I did that as a troll.
What? Oh, what the better?
I said it was better than the books because
I figured somebody was trolling.
I'm an asshole.
I also
So
was.
Killer
I
8000.
also
take
wasn't.
Shots
responsibility.
fired.
You
Shots
can
fired.
I
make
knew
fun of
somebody
me
was
and
trolling.
say everything, and I can't
Well-
see myself because Killer 8000 is blocking my view. But hey, if that's revenge.
He's taking your
If
spot.
that's justice for what I did, I take.
What's up, Dovey? Well, I was
Because
also
he hasn't
sort
seen
of-
the show yet.
I was also
Dovey,
going to
Dovey,
sort of
Dovey.
recap because I wasn't sure if he saw the clip, but Rafe outright lies in the last QA and says 70% of Wheel of Time book readers who have read all 14 books have said to him, or have said, or what was it? The numbers say that
70% was right.
70%
Yeah.
either think it's just as good as the book or even
Or
better.
better.
The guy has the gall to say that shit. So,
Rafe Judkins.
Rafe Judkins said it. We're and Nerpoil's trolling. He'll be punished tomorrow at about 8 Eastern when he starts the
Oh.
series, and he'll be weeping. There will be weeping. There will be crying. There will be.
And
I'm going to
rage.
set a
Rage.
timer.
It's going
I'm
to
gonna
take
set a
30
timer.
seconds.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. We talked about that. My very first review, it took me 20 seconds, and I threw my remote control across the room, and it shattered. And I don't do that.
Like I remember
I
back when
don't do that.
Nerpoil tried to do well. He still does very heartwarming, and he's a very fair gentleman. That's why I know when Nerpoil, I think a lot of like Wakazashi Gray over at Wakazashi's Tea House, which we got to get Gray over at Wakazashi's Tea House to 1K. He's 30 away. If you're not subbed to Gray over at Wakazashi's Tea House, go sub.
Seriously.
Gray's the man. But I think of Nerpoil that way. Gray is very, very nice guy, very fair, very, very fair to all of this entertainment, comics, everything. If they are saying stuff is bad, it's bad. Like that's just I haven't seen two people that are more fair to everything than those two guys. So, so we're not here all night. So David, thank you for being here. Dovey, I'm glad I forgot to send you an email. I'll give you a heads up, but glad you made it, buddy. Hope everything's good. Killer 8000, like I said, you're here. Thank you for showing up. Sam McCabe, my new member, and thank you, Nerporio, again for the gifted membership. Again, you have destroyed me in the war. I'm not out yet, but
the war never ends.
The war will never end. So
just like the wheel of time, it's a cycle after a cycle after a cycle.
And yes, Dempsey, Gray to 1K, Wakazashi Gray to 1K. So now this is the part that's going to get a little bit. Hey, Lyle, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Ho ho ho!
How
What's
you
up,
doing,
Lyle?
buddy?
Did you call him a hoe, Salty? You shouldn't say that.
No, I was doing Santa. I was saying, ho, 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 Lyle Hammock, have you been a good boy this year? Ho, ho, ho.
I didn't know Lyle was a hoe.
Did you kick him down the slide too, like in Christmas Story style? You gotta put an eye out with that kid.
Sure. Okay, maybe. Don't judge.
Oh my God, that was perfect. That was like 1 for 1 perfect.
He just
my
needed a little
God.
bit. Oh my God.
He's
glad
a little bit came out. I was like, whoa, man.
Wow.
That might come another meme.
Oh
yeah.
So this could be the part that's a little bit because, like I said, I was watching the World Cup. I was going to try and clip some of this out, but so we're not spending the whole time watching it. We're going to go right to Sanderson's and his buddy. I forget his name. I really can't stomach him. But they've done this in defense of Rings of Power stream on Brandon Sanderson's channel. Most of you know and have heard me talk about I love the Cosmere. I'm gonna start doing Cosmere stuff. I love I've supported Brandon Sanderson's Kickstarters. I love pretty much anything Brandon Sanderson when it comes to his books and his IPs. So my initial gut reaction to this in defense of Rings of Power kind of video, which me and Salty did sort of a reaction to just the title because I don't defend this crap. Just there's no kind of or not. Don't defend it. It's not defensible. Don't waste the time. But most of the video I clicked through is them sort of saying it wasn't very good, to be honest. From what I saw, they weren't really any glowing reviews of it. And so I've gone to the end here to where they're basically giving their ratings. And I hope it's in this part. I think it is, but just some of the things that Brandon is saying here are sort of telling and sort of contradicting what he's been saying in the past when it comes to the Wheel of Time, and you know, you'll see. So hopefully it gets it in there. Let's see what you need to. Daniel says you need to clip Brian alongside the original Christmas story scene. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I might have to do that. All right. Dan Wells, who is going to be writing for the Cosmere. I feel like which one was Dan Wells? I don't know. Elaborate a little bit for me. Is that him? Is he writing Cosmere? Oh, great. I hope he. Oh man, whatever. So let's see. I'm gonna play this. Do I need to put something over it? I'm not gonna get put down for playing another YouTube stream, am I?
Oh, I don't see why.
No, I mean, I guess this is free.
That are on YouTube.
Well, we're talking. Well, we'll see. I can always flash the dumb apple up every once in a while. Here we go.
They're all kind of uncertain. Am I going to prove myself or things like that? And then they get defeated. What is this narrative saying? It's not saying anything.
It's not.
They don't have a character arc as a culture.
So that was him talking about the Harfoots, if I remember right. He's basically exactly what we said about the Harfoots. Let me see if I can find
It's
it.
like,
Oh my God, Brandon Sanderson's a
them
racist like I am. This
so-
is awesome.
There's so many different ways you could do this plot. They are so overconfident. They're like, oh yeah, we're the best fighters in the world. Of course we can go take out what? Oh, there's some little bands of orcs, whatever. All right, we're going to send a big campaign and show how awesome we are. You're going to be in our debt, right?
Yeah.
That could totally have been a thing. If that's the case, why do you spend like 3 episodes torturously
Torturously is the word he's using to describe the Rings of Power. So, like,
How long ago was this video?
Long ago? I think it was a week, 2 weeks ago.
Was this after the show concluded?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was way after.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
and I'd like to let me see if I can find the Harfoots part because I think it's almost exactly word to word what we were saying.
that could totally fit into the archetype that I'm looking at here, but it doesn't slot into the way that they're doing it. They're all kind of uncertain. Am I going to prove myself or things like that? And then they get defeated. What is this narrative saying?
One thing that I am
they don't
pretty
like it,
certain
so I don't know why they're even
is
defending
they spent 2 or 3 conversations, which isn't a ton over the course of 8 episodes, but they really hit hard. This is a really special horse.
Yes.
These are specially.
So they're talking about the horses, right? So that like right. So this is just a snippet of it. They don't like it. Like you can tell that they even this dude over here, he doesn't like it. Go ahead, Salty. What were you gonna say?
No, what I'm picking up is subtext here. And this is why I said we need to watch the video, like in the video you and I did, because it just the body language between these two guys, you know that they said a whole lot of things before they went live. And in my opinion, these guys loathe Payne and McKay even more than we do. You know that somebody like Brandon Sanderson is going, why didn't you have me adapt the Rings of Power? And even Dan Wells, who is a science fiction writer and fantasy writer in his own right and has written screenplays, he's done more than Payne and McKay. But you know these guys are burning inside. They're burning inside because they weren't part of the J.J. Abrams Circle Jerk Club to get these things. And it's the same Circle Jerk Club that is going to take over the DCEU. It's why Henry Cavill is out. Because those people, those blood-sucking amoral parasites, in my opinion, have not left at all. But I will stand by this. I think Sanderson would have given us a hell of a lot better Lord of the Rings in the Second Age than Payne and McKay ever could have. And I think these guys hurt just as much as we did. I really do think
I think they do. I really do, because like some of these, like the facial expressions, what they're, I feel like they stop themselves a lot from going more in depth on, because like, and I can't find. I may try and find it. Here in a little. If we got talking about something else, but they basically go almost word for word about the Harfoots as we did. They're singing about how they're a community and they're the nicest, and then they leave people behind to die.
Yes.
and you know, and all that stuff, and it's like we want to banish people, and they ban, you know, we're the nicest things, and then they treat people like garbage, and it's like, what the hell are you trying? Like, it's so
I can see the
confusing.
parallels with a certain real world. Sorry.
Oh, you're totally right. But Nerdporial's totally right about that. This is SJWs. Like, we love you and we're going to be the bestest communist
Tolerance.
brothers and sisters ever, unless you do one thing that you don't intend to do, and then we're going to ostracize you.
We're tolerant. We just don't tolerate the intolerant.
Yeah.
Well, that makes you intolerant then.
So Killer 8000 says, what is each of your guys' favorite Wheel of Time book? I just finished 12. My favorite so far is book 6. So, well, real quick, Salty, do you have a favorite off the top of your
Shadow
head?
Rising and The Great Hunt.
Nice. Nate?
I'm going to probably have to say it's either going to be The Great Hunt or Knife of Dreams.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Knife of Dreams is good.
And
it's hard. It's hard. Well, Eye of the World for you, right? I mean, it's the only one you've read so far.
Can I shill for myself?
Oh,
yes, absolutely. Go. Yes,
right, well,
do it.
Killer 8000, despite the fact that he had to cover me again. So despite the fact that I trolled with that little ballot box, or what do you call it? Poll. I'm actually reading the Wheel of Time for the first time myself. I've been covering the books on my channel, Nerdporial Lifeform, and been doing it with Man and Manethrin Above and Prophet. I do want to get Salty on for a future episode. So I finished Eye of the World. We talked about it, 12 hours of discussion of the book, with maybe with a little bit of sprinkling in some TV show stuff to really piss me off and everything.
Like poop.
Like poop. But I'm starting The Great Hunt, and that series is going to resume next month. So I'm going to be starting streaming, talking about The Great Hunt next month. And I'm actually on chapter 1 of The Great Hunt right now. So
sorry, I didn't mean. I forgot. I didn't mean to cover you up. Report. I apologize.
You can put me on the bottom. It's okay. I'm secure in my manhood.
No, we're good. Like I'll just.
He's saying I'm not.
No.
I just
no. People want to see. No, Jesus Christ, Nerdporial. No. I just meant like, dude, you can throw me down here because I'll just rant and rave anyway. I don't need to be on screen. You're much more handsome than I am, so that's why I was like, maybe I'll get more views.
Here, we can all share the bottom. There we go. We'll
there
rotate.
You are. That's what I'm talking about.
Share
my
the
camera.
bottom.
White
so
balances.
Just to finish up, I would say it's hard to beat Lord of Chaos, but Shadow Rising is also very good. It's sort of Matt's coming out party, so that's Shadow Rising is very good. Lords of Chaos is really good. I always defer to Lord of Chaos just because I feel like there's been a few times where I've gone to read and I've got through Lords of Chaos and I've just been like, okay, that was great. I don't need to keep going for now, right? So I've read to Lords of Chaos a lot, so I like that. Shadow Rising is very good too, but I would say Lord of Chaos for myself as well. Daniel, and I agree. I wanted to address this because that doesn't give them the leeway, in my view. If they know Rings of Power is bad, then why make a pretense in defense video at all? Because they want to play footsie with the Destroyers.
I'm never going to defend anybody in Hollywood, but I think and Daniel, you've worked in corporate America. So kind of how this works is, we can't speak truth. We have to kind of talk around the truth, and let other people come to it. It sucks because it's the same thing that's killing a lot of things in our culture right now. But I think Brandon Sanderson knows the rabid idiots that are on social media and also in the mainstream media at this point. And if he steps out of line, look at him. He's the wrong gender and the wrong color and the wrong belief system. And they just crucify him. And I'm sure he doesn't need that kind of bullshit. He doesn't. So it sucks. But I don't know. I'm not going to defend anybody, but I don't know. That's why. We all know it. Which sucks.
Yep. So, all right. So let me I'm going to go ahead and see if I can.
No triage. There's no, let's build a base and see where the wounded and survivors
that
are.
That one hurt.
Let's
more.
Scout the scene. They didn't do any of it.
That one hurt more.
Right. So a lot of complaints. Right. So I'm going to try and get to the. Let's see if I can get to the rating part here.
Jesus, this is like us watching it live when I walked away. I was like, I'm done.
Okay, but is that something they wrote into it, or was that like the Key and Peele sketch with the extra?
Yeah.
Going on.
All right,
Oh
let's
my
see.
word.
So I gave it a 6 out of 10. That might be stretching. I have to honestly, to be perfectly
Here, listen.
honest,
Here.
it is better than Wheel of Time.
There it is. All right. So there it is.
That told us everything. That completely it defaults to the second option I came up with. Did you watch his eyes when he's going 6 out of 10? He's like, that was dog shit. It was a 2. And that the Wheel of Time was absolutely rancid, fetid, rotting.
Yeah.
Dog shit.
So he gave it a generous 6. So go, Nathan. Go.
So this is where none of this adds up. They're sitting there doing all this critique of it, saying all the things that didn't make sense, and then you give it an above medium. You give it a passing grade, because 6 out of 10 just barely passes. So it doesn't make sense, even when you're sitting there saying that you're being generous with it. And then when you sit there and say it was better than Wheel of Time, you're not really giving a glowing review that equals what the number is that you're giving. And so there is this mental connection that isn't happening here for anybody that's listening to this and actually concentrating on what they're saying. It doesn't make sense to give this a 6 out of 10, and it doesn't make sense that you're going to give it a 6 out of 10 and compare it to Wheel of Time, because what was your rating for Wheel of Time?
See, and that's where I'm going with this, Nathan, is he said 6 because his name is on the damn show. He's executive producer on the first season of Wheel of Time. Now, Rafe ignored him. I mean, and he even said Rafe ignored his feedback. Hey, Zach, what's up? But I think that's why he had to give it a 6. But I mean, it's looking to me like he'd give it maybe a 3 or a 2 from the way they're harshing on the Rings of Power, which means that Wheel of Time was a 1 or a 0 or something unfathomably small. That's how I'm reading this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of it adds up, and so it's hard for me to sit there and take this critique seriously when you're sitting there giving it such an imbalanced number behind your critiques. You haven't said one glowing thing really about the show at all.
No,
that sits there and says it goes above a 3.
Just a little bit, the little bit we've looked at, because I'm like, I went through it a little bit to try, ran out of time, World Cup, all that shit. But just a little bit we've looked at. I haven't heard any of them say anything good. Brandon is actually looks like he's in pain over the stuff that he can see that they should have done and didn't. And then he comes in hot with the 6 and says 6 is being generous, and then says the Wheel of Time was worse. So he's really probably at a 4 or 5 for Rings of Power, and like you said,
and it drops it down to 1 or 2. And the only reason he give it a 2 is because Amazon, he was an executive producer on an Amazon show. Now, Lyle Hammock says, but they couldn't even do that. I literally left the bar on the ground, but they actually dug under it. And it's true. I mean, Lyle, you were the biggest strenuous defender of give the show a chance. And again, you and I had some back and forth on this on my channel, and it was never personal. No one wanted the Rings of Power to be good. Nobody wanted that more than I did, but it wasn't. And all the signs pointed to it not being that way.
And the other thing I would like to know, what else in your mind then warrants a 6? Because there's a real comparison there. Because if you're sitting there saying that this other show is a 6, and then you're saying Rings of Power is a 6, and everybody else is looking at that saying, but that was so much better than Rings of Power. If let's say House of the Dragon, is that a 6? I know a lot of people would do that.
I said House of the Dragon was a 7. It was a 7 overall. I mean, it really was. So if that's, I mean, again, everything is subjective. Beauty is subjective, right? But look at the looks on these guys' faces. They are not buying any of this.
And it gets there's something else. There's something else we'll get to in a second. But I just wanted to say it's just, oh man, did I just get streamed by myself? I did.
Probably. It's going around.
Yeah, I know, but I think Frank is right. They cover themselves for people who only look at the rating. I think that's absolutely true. And I got a super chat here from Daniel, $5. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate it. Eric July can start the Rippaverse without diluting his ethics, but Brandon Sanderson has to play ball with these people. Rage emoji.
Fair.
I'm glad you're making good use out of my rage emoji.
But I will say
Sanderson
this:
don't need those people.
No,
He
he
doesn't.
doesn't. He made how many millions, Steve, from the books
So
last year?
so 40
How-
million in
40
his secret
million.
project, then another
40 million.
what 4 million for his miniature project.
Yeah.
We've talked
Yeah.
about it before. All he
Yeah.
needed to do, he's got his Dragon Steel company. He's got Dragon Con, which is sold out in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He could just make his own studio, and us fans, I have no money. I just spent a whole bunch of money on my kids for
He
Christmas.
does.
I'm
Steve
poor,
does.
but guess what? I love his IP so much. I would find a way to give something to it so it could be done right, because that's how much it means to me. And I'm telling you right now, there's millions and millions of people just like me that would do the exact same. If he just said, I'm going to build my own studio, screw Hollywood, I'm going to do it myself, and other fantasy authors, if you want to join in whatever, we'll figure it out. He could build Dragon Steel Studios, no problem. Crowdfunding it, easy.
Well, let's put this into zeros and ones and remove the emotion from this, okay? Brandon Sanderson, simply by going on the internet and said, I'm going to write 5 books and I'm not going to tell you what they are, made $44 million. Let's be extraordinarily conservative and say he gets maybe just over half of that after taxes, which means he has a net profit of probably $20 to $23 million. So you know what that means? That means Brandon Sanderson has made more profit than Walt Disney has in its last 4 movie releases. That is not hyperbole. Brandon Sanderson has an individual, and I'm making a point. I'm using my Brandon Sanderson has an individual has made more of a profit than a transnational multi-billion-dollar entertainment company has in 3 major theatrical releases. Now, this is the world we live in. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. Why does he do this? Why does he play the game? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's in this man's heart. All I know is he's a good earner. He's a really good earner. And he's got a huge chip on his shoulder with George R.R. Martin. He's got a hard on for George R.R. Martin after them going with them for
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. And I did a video that people are still 30 people a day are looking at that Elden Ring video where I talk about Sanderson versus Martin. And it's like, people love, like Steve said, Brandon Sanderson. Now I've got his books. I think he's a pretty good author, but he's not in my top 10. He's not. But I mean, again, this is bizarro world. Why wouldn't you want to make money? Why wouldn't you want to make your fans happy and then make more money while making your fans happy? This literally makes no sense to me unless there's something a lot more important than money. And what is that?
Yes,
that's what we all need to find out, because all these entertainment companies, Paramount, with the exception of Sony, Warner Brothers, Amazon, Netflix, something's a lot more important than making money to them. What is it? It's more than just
it's a couple, but it's coupled with the money. I mean, they are hitting those ESG scores gets money back to them, and I think it's in a lot of ways offsetting their profit losses.
That's what
they're
I've been
getting
saying.
by hitting those ESG scores. It's not totally doing it, because we saw the headline, like the WB lost like tens of millions of dollars for 13 straight years.
What it does is it affects it from an investment standpoint. It lowers the interest rates on their hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of loans. But at some point, you got to make some money. You can't just keep borrowing money to lose money to then pay less interest rate on the money you lost. Right?
You'd think that, but it just I don't see any end in sight. And I just Zach's is the one that sort of was going to try and help me out, but the snow attacked him in Canadian land, so So we'll get you on a stream here sometime when the snow lets up on you, buddy. But Zach says he watched through the whole video, and he says, "That's my thoughts after watching this. He's not chilling because he needs to. He may believe in this woke BS, but he's virtue signaling to the opposite to us. He flipped it."
But
So
it's here, and I want to talk about this with Zach's, and we may have to do it on a members only chat, and I gotta be real careful about how I say this, okay? And we all know on this panel what I'm talking about that I'm not saying. But the same belief system that Sanderson and this other writer have are the same ones that Payne and McKay have, and the same ones that Rafe Judkins has. I'm just going to say it like that. Now, maybe there's something within that belief system where you don't speak ill of other people within that belief system. Again, there's nothing. I'm trying to be very sensitive about this, and I don't know if that's the case, but there's something weird going on with that, where there seems to be a lot of people in that belief system suddenly running all of these projects, which I don't have a problem with. That's totally fine. I'm just noticing what seems to be more than coincidence and some weird kind of thing where the woke you're talking about is not part of that belief system that they all grew up in. I mean, unless I'm missing something with this, guys, help me out on this. I sound like I'm a raging lunatic or a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not.
Well, I think a lot of people are agreeing with you, so I don't think you sound that way at all. And Tony Wilson says, if Brandon is so comfortable with money, then why does he sell it to Amazon corporate values? I don't know. That's I don't know. Unless he
maybe
just
there's more hurdles than we know about.
Say that again, Napoleon.
Maybe there's more hurdles than we know about.
Yeah, we're not in there. We don't know what he's dealing with, but I think that is the question right there, because I don't, he's probably the most probably the most profitable author, definitely fantasy author right now, in the world. I mean, he's making money.
Currently working, unlike George R.R. Martin. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and pumping out books left, right, and center, making Kickstarters. He's got a successful YouTube channel now. To do so that is, I think, Tony, the question. Why is it to be? I mean, you're already popular, so it's not because you need to be in the in crowd and popular. Everybody loves you because you seem to be a genuine nice guy and all that. So I don't know. It's the unanswerable question until somebody answers it for us that's doing this crap, because I don't understand. And maybe it is what Napoleon said. It's just it's access. Maybe it's just to gain entry into that world. You have to pay your penance. Can we
give Louise X Sparrow some time? Because I think what we need to do is always anyone who's calling us out or telling us to shut up. And I know that's not what she said. Louise said, I think you're reading too much into this. I'm sure he's being careful not to outright trash it, but that wasn't the focus of the podcasts. And I think it's important to call things like this out. I think, Louise, you have a point. I think you do. I'm looking at this from a perspective of and I'm not talking down to you. I swear to God, you know that. And we've worked together. I recorded you for the Tolkien Fire of the Phantom. Thanks. Covering this from Wheel of Time, going back a year and a half, and then watching some of these things happen, I may be a little more easily triggered or whatever it is. It doesn't mean I'm right or righter or you're wrong or anything like that. But that's the perspective I'm approaching it from, is making a lot of content and doing a lot of research behind the scenes. This stuff with Sanderson, I don't know what it means, but he's throwing shade. And
he is.
And again,
well, and we haven't. Hold on. I want it, because you're right. He is, because here, look. Let's finish this, at least this part, because again, so what he's already said right here speaks volumes. I mean, he said he didn't. It was 6, and then so let's just finish this one part up, and then we'll keep going, because we've been going in an hour. But here we go.
I'm sorry, Wheel of Time. There's some love about Wheel of Time.
I wouldn't even wince when I said that. I think it is empirically and obviously.
I'm a producer on Wheel of Time. Well, I understand. But to point out, Wheel of Time got like an $8 to $10 million budget, and this.
Go ahead. So there you go. I know those people.
This is us,
right? So,
this is you and me and Zax and Disparu and Manamanethrin, and it's gonna be Nerdporial. It's gonna be Nerdporial. It's OBG70. This was us, and we were called racist and incels and afraid of strong women and toxic males and everything else. Now here we are, a year later, almost to the day. Because I remember being in a hotel room recording, I think it was episode 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it was, talking about the Wheel of Not Time, and the comments that were being put in my videos, and you could tell they were from people from Amazon talking about how you don't know how much work went into this production, and you don't know how much people really sweated to try and make deadlines. Nobody who loves the books is going to talk about all the work that went into the production, you know? And I just, this, I mean, and Nathan was there, Steve, you were there, Zax was there, OBG70 again, Disparu, all of us who were in on this. You know, when a lot of bigger channels said, who cares about Wheel of Time? And again, I said this and other people did too. Wheel of Time was the testing ground for what they're going to do to the Rings of Power. And guess what? We were sadly right. And it's just, I don't know. This just makes my head explode. It just makes my head explode.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, he's saying a lot of things, and I'm surprised he said some of this stuff, because it's like almost an admission of, I don't want to hurt my friend's feelings, but I didn't like it. Like, you know, that's almost how I took some of that. Like, I don't know. What do you think, Nathan?
Well, and I think that reaction when he sits there and says that and apologizes to the Wheel of Time people, it's almost like he's saying that in fear of what the shills will say in response to that.
I agree.
That he doesn't want to get all the name calling back aimed at him.
Yeah.
He just, you know, I don't know. It's weird. It really is a weird kind of discussion.
I wasn't expecting that sort of candid remark from him, right?
I respect him a lot more now.
I mean,
I respect him a lot more,
because just listening to him say this and his facial features and looking at him and he's being very careful. He's being very careful, but I can, like, you can almost, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I am.
No,
I could be.
No.
You know, and it's like, and I think Louis said, you know, a lot of this stuff comes down to personal attachment to the series. I think that is absolutely right too. But I see pain. I see pain on his face when he talks about Wheel of Time.
I'm betting that he's looking off camera at his producer, who's probably doing this. Don't do this. You know what I mean? But so reading body language is one of the most important skills that anyone can develop. Now, looking at his body reactions and looking at the way his eyes are and where his hands are placed, this is not a staged emotional reaction. When people lean forward like that, that is him saying something he doesn't want to say in the way that he's doing it. Okay? You can learn to be a professional liar, but this guy, what he just did, that was not fake. That was not fake authenticity. He actually is in pain saying this. So I have a lot more respect for Brandon Sanderson. But again, saying and doing are two very, very different things. I find this extraordinarily encouraging. To me, this seems like a natural connect the dots from the original statement in last November when he said, don't make Wheel of Time grimdark. I don't like what you did to Matt's character. I don't understand why you gave Perrin a wife. And then he re-said the same thing in March and April. And there were people in my comment section saying, Brandon Sanderson never said that. And now here we are on the other side of this. And he is saying what he was probably saying in November, but could not articulate in those articles.
Yep. And I just want to say, because Zax is, you know, I feel like we're more invested in Wheel of Time than Sanderson. I probably be wrong, but I think that's the vibe I get from him. I don't think that's wrong. I mean, look, I think he loves Wheel of Time in his own way. I mean, obviously he was a big part of it, but it's not his. He's a part of it, and he helped.
It's his adopted son. It's his adopted son. It's not his own flesh and blood, which is his series. So he's gonna make sure it doesn't starve to death, but he's not gonna hug it and kiss it every day. You know?
And I think he's the other guy's Dan. He's an author, right? You said he's a science fiction author. Dan,
yes, correct.
Dan Wells. Okay, yeah. He's okay. So and then now Luis is man, I can't talk. He's a fan of Wheel of Time and he knows the story, but he's not invested in Rings of Power. There's always going to be fans more invested though, and that's true too. I agree with that.
And I think that statement there kind of goes into why he responded the way that he did a year ago, where he was critical of some of the things that he did, but he wasn't overly critical like the rest of us who love this story so much are. That's, he's measured. Yes, he's into playing the game a little bit because he wants to get his stuff made into television shows and everything, but he's not going to sit there and go. I don't think he gets overly emotionally invested in this stuff in the same manner, just because I think he's a little bit more measured in his responses. He's trained himself to be that way, and so there's that. It's not going to be this explosion like we can have.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. He was the executive producer, so he saw the scripts before they got made. So he might have had these reactions like, WTF, what are you doing? He might have been on the phone going, the fans aren't going to like this. And then he had time to go, okay, this is out of my control now. This is what they're going to do. And then to make those comments in the media. I mean, again, executive producer, just like Henry Cavill is going to be executive producer for Warhammer 40K. Now, again, unless Henry's contract says you got to do exactly what the book says or I'm walking, the same goddamn thing could happen with Henry Cavill in 40K.
Look, everybody's excited about, and I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, and then I want to read some more of these the chats because we got some good chats going here. But I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but I wouldn't be too hopeful for 40K. Witcher was his dream role as well. Being in 40K is also a dream role for him. But if anything they're now attacking him, saying that women need to be protected from Henry Cavill because he's.
You saw that was debunked. It was already debunked. Yeah. And somebody lawyered up and came after those assholes real quick.
When did that happen?
It happened this morning. It happened this morning. A retraction statement that was full of legalese was issued by the idiots who made that bullshit up, and it was real clear. Somebody with a lot of good attorneys came in there and said, "We're going to rip your nuts off and feed them to you if you don't retract this." And
but I mean, my point is I don't executive producing doesn't, he's not going to have much say of how it's written. Look at I don't know if he was executive producing The Witcher, but he said he would do this, and they did the exact opposite, and here we are. So until I see a few episodes of 40K, dude, I hope it would be freaking amazing if it's good. Like, good Lord, if they listen to him. God damn, that could be out unreal. But
I'll be honest. Whenever they announce stuff, and this is a confession I have. I'm kind of black-pilled in interest. Like, I don't get excited for when shows get announced.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I mean, I'm watching Andor right now because of Pip's recommendation. But I will probably not watch, Disney Star Wars or whole lot now with genre or stuff that's based off of familiar book properties or video game properties. It's all just a fucking
platform.
It's just a fucking, like I said, platform just to spew their ideas. And the thing is, fuck you. Sorry, fuck you. but fuck I mean, you for the fact that I feel this way.
But this is it. But Brian, you just articulated it perfectly. This did not happen overnight. This didn't happen in one show. This has happened over 7-8 years, okay? Where every single thing is exactly the same messaging, exactly the same ESG shit. There's no hero's journey. There's no story, emasculated bad dad bullshit. I mean, they did this, and they're trying to convince us that we're the ones who are toxic and racist and istic and phobic when we're not. They did did this, but this is classic narcissist behavior. And what happens to a narcissist during the discard phase? Once they've taken all of the narcissistic energy from somebody and sucked you dry, and you're going, wait, why didn't you do that? I thought you loved me, Star Trek. I thought you loved me, Disney. And then they have to displace, and they gaslight, and they lie. And the purpose of their lying is to make you feel crazy.
It's like, I mean, it's been brought up in both franchises, Star Wars and Star Trek. You know, there's going to be a point, and maybe, you know, this is part of growing up. This is part of, you know, being an adult. You have to let go of things, and sometimes certain things have to be let go, especially once they reach a certain, you know, length. Like I'm going to use a weird rope analogy. Once you get a certain point where, you know, if you step further on the rope, you're going to fall to your death in terms of interest. That's where you got to kind of let that part go and kind of cut it off there. I'm not telling people to stop watching new stuff, but the thing is, and I agree, this is another thing that Pips brought up in another stream. Do not let current stuff affect the older stuff that was meaningful to you, because there's always going to be weird adaptations that people are going to make, and they are meant to be ignored.
Sorry, I'm scrolling through chat because everybody's rocking it. So there's almost too many to read, but it's like no, I agree with everything you're saying. Like, because I feel sort of the same way. We talk about it all the time, Brian, sort of the same way, just sort of like, I gotta wait. So
that's why, like, you know, that's why, I mean, playing something simple like Super Mario yesterday was such a refreshing thing to do, and it was just. I just really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to this upcoming movie. Now, will it suffer from, you know, modern sensibilities? Who knows? But hopefully it's decent.
Okay. Steve, the one and only Zach's Kyle, put that comment up about that Amazon is not producing it, that Vertigo is, and Amazon is distributing. Who is the executive in charge of streaming at Vertigo? Now, that I don't know. Now, Vertigo Entertainment, if it's the same one, this is the same studio that started out by making The Ring, Grudge, Dark Water. They did The Departed. Let's see what they've done recently, because that's when there was decent entertainment. In the last couple of years, Vertigo has done, let's see, oh God, a lot of terrible things. Polaroid, the Lego Movie, Dr. Sleep, The Turning, Don't Worry, The Mother, and they're doing, they're the ones responsible for BioShock with 2K as well. That's coming out next year, but it's who knows?
So they haven't made much anything.
Maybe it's a maybe. They've made a lot, but nothing in this genre. Yeah. They've made a lot of horror movies, so maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. But I just want to say hi to Shelby. How you doing? And Lady Bellfire, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in. But what's up? Oh, did you want to say something? Did I interrupt you?
Yeah, I did my quickest shave. So you saw that white light, that weird white stuff on my face. Yeah, I just shaved. So, yeah.
So real quick, I just want to get to the end because his reaction towards the end here is pretty priceless. I only caught half of it here. So real quick, we'll and then we'll stop. But as soon as Dan gives his rating, I want you to just take a look.
This has a $60 million budget per episode, but. I might have given Wheel of Time a 6 out of 10, and I will have to demote it if I did, because this is like the definition of, like, it's better than average, mostly because of the visuals. But
better than average, mostly because of the visuals.
The visuals are better than average? No fucking way. To quote the Blues Brothers.
If the visuals are giving it above an average, come on.
Sorry, I'm swearing. I'm saying the
go. We're go. I
haven't even drinking anything. This is just
hit that rage emoji, members. Hit that rage emoji.
Yeah,
go.
Go Nerdporial. Go.
The visuals go.
Like between the costumes and the visuals look fake. I mean, well, they are fake, but they look terrible. House of the Dragon looked way better.
Way better.
Agreed. It was not a lived-in world. Yeah, it was not a lived-in world. And Christ, I remember we were live streaming, and I think everybody here was on that on my channel, and we saw not Elrond walk around a corner with Mr. Uncle Bad Touch guy, and like they had fast traveled, on a CG screen, and they're showing up to Kaza Dune. And I remember that triggered. I thought it was Nerdporial and Steve and
It
Nathan.
was me.
Like,
I
what
lost
the
my
hell are they
fucking
doing?
mind.
I know. It is just like, it's not just Salty who loses his mind over these things, but it's like I don't know.
He was talking about Rings of Power, right?
Yeah, he's talking about what? No,
Okay,
I don't. I think
because I'm like, I
don't know. I think he was talking about Wheel of Time getting the 6 because of the visuals.
Oh,
that's what I think he was saying. I don't know.
Well,
I was talking about Rings of Power. Oh,
real
sorry.
quick, Lyle.
Then that's on. That's on
have
me.
fun
Then.
have fun at your Christmas party, Lyle. We'll see
Merry
you later,
Christmas,
buddy.
Lyle.
Merry
Christmas, Lyle.
Seriously, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Sorry, go ahead. Report. Keep going.
Okay, so if he's talking about Wheel of Time, then I was wrong to make a comment because I didn't watch
I don't
Wheel
know.
of Time.
See,
So
it wasn't very
I thought
clear.
he was talking about Rings of Power because I thought he was talking about the $60 million budget. So
well, here let me
that's what it was. Because Wheel of Time had 80 million for one season of television. I think he was saying 60 million per an episode for the Rings of Mediocrity. And,
all right, let's play it back here real quick, just so we're
all right.
Budget, and this has a $60 million budget per episode. It is better than Wheel of Time. I'm sorry, Wheel of Time. There's some things I love about Wheel of Time.
I wouldn't even
don't apologize.
Wow.
Historically and obviously.
I'm a producer on Wheel of Time, and I know all this.
I understand that.
But let's point out Wheel of Time got an $8 to $10 million budget, and this has a $60 million budget per episode.
Mm-hmm.
I might have given Wheel of Time a 6 out of 10, and I will have to demote it if I did, because this is like the definition of like it's better than average, mostly because of the visuals.
All right, yeah. So he's saying Rings of Power is better than average because of the visuals. Yeah,
we were right.
Yeah,
yep.
And that's, I mean, but with the visuals, the visuals were clearly better in Rings of Power by a long shot, which really is a statement to say.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
True.
But again, when you're sitting there saying that the show goes above average because of the visuals, that is insane to sit there and say that storyline should be your base. Right.
Agreed. There. But if you don't have storyline, if you don't have a story and you don't have compelling characters, you just want, when people look up from their phone, ordering shit from Amazon or looking at Jennifer Lawrence's latest nude picture leak or whatever it is, and you're like, oh, look at the pretty flashing lights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's who they're making it for.
Yeah.
The other problem go ahead.
When they were interviewing the producers and the actors for House of the Dragon, there was a question to all of them, like, what do you hope people take from this show? And their answer across the board was dragons. We hope that they love the dragons. I'm like, you don't want them to love the story? It baffled my mind. It was a hell of a lot better of a story than Wheel of Time and Rings of Power. But it was just kind of like, why are we so fascinated with the visual? The visuals are great, but they're the cherry on top of the sundae of the story.
Well, the visuals are great for House of the Dragon. Like,
yes,
we're focusing on.
It was a lived-in world.
Yeah,
it was a lived-in world.
If we're focusing, like, obviously, we're not focusing on story, and we're focusing on visuals for all these other shows. We are failing really, really bad because the visuals on these other shows, like House of the Dragon, fine. The visuals on that really good. The rest of them, no. How can you compare to the Rings of Power or Wheel of Time? All you got to do, and I know everybody makes the comparison, so I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna make it too. The trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's freaking years and years ago.
Yes,
that stuff looks a million times better than all of this shit that's coming out.
Two Towers came out today.
How is that? How have we forgot? And I'm tired of the, and maybe it's true that everybody wants CGI people, and there's not enough people to do it right. But it's like almost like a forgotten talent in Wheel of Time.
It is, but I was having this conversation, and here's the thing: why do these movies from 20 years ago? Look at Harry Potter. Look at Harry Potter. I just rewatched all of the movies, okay? You know why that works? It's a cohesive story with a hero's journey for multiple characters. The Lord of the Rings, 21 years old. Why is it good? It doesn't have a transhuman agenda. It did not have ESG behind it. And I know, oh, Salty's talking about the boogeyman again. You know what? If you have a better rational explanation for this, I'd love to hear it. Who directed the Rings of Power episodes? Look at remember, I did how many videos about this to people behind it? They're talentless hacks who were rewarded for doing shit on Doctor Who. Who wrote the Rings of Power? Someone who wrote Toy Story 4 and Hawaii 5-0 on CBS. That's who wrote this. You know who adapted the Lord of the Rings trilogy? It was the freaking GOAT. Okay, it was Peter Jackson, and he did it because he loved it. These other people did it so they could build their career creating ESG score, transhuman entertainment. The answer is maybe that simple. I don't want it to be. Where are the people with souls and hearts? I don't know. I was born a human. I was born in the late mid 20th century. This will never change within me. They don't care about us. They want.
Are you saying you're not a pod person, Corey?
They want the kids. They want the children. They want the tweens and the teens, and they want them to chop bits off and sew bits on and talk about pronouns and love communism and watch this shit because of the visuals. Not because there's a story, not because there's a human element, not because there's anything inspirational or aspirational, but because it's soul-destroying, flickering light, live in a pod stuff like Nerdporial said.
Joke's on them. Kids aren't watching it. They don't care.
Yeah, they're playing video games, so we have to keep our eyes on video games now. I mean,
that's why like
Sony's already going down
the next frontier. No, that's the next frontier.
Look at what they did with Final Fantasy Remake. They stuck that agenda in there really well during a certain section.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about Nintendo.
Oh yeah, I would be. I would be concerned about the Mario movie. And I don't mean to
I don't know, man. The Mario movie I have hope for. We'll see.
I can see how it would work.
We'll see. I don't know. I have hope for the Mario movie. It looks fun. I hope that's what it is. And I hope they don't stick some bullshit in there with Princess Peach. I'm worried about it a little bit, but even
in the old Super Show, she kind of took charge because she was the princess anyways. So.
Yeah, well, she is the princess, right? So it's like, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, but here, so that we're not quite. We're almost there. We'll get there, fellas. Here we go.
Some really good moments. I still want to watch more of it, but it sure wasn't great for me.
Yeah. The narrative mistakes that Wheel of Time made feel much more egregious to me.
Yes. Okay. What was that? Hold on.
No.
Wait, what did he say? The Wheel of
Time much more egregious
time made.
Yes.
Feel much more egregious.
But I might have to demote it if I did, because this is like the definition of like it's better than average, mostly because of the visuals, but with some really good moments. I still want to watch more of it, but it sure wasn't great for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
The narrative mistakes that Wheel of Time made feel much more egregious to me.
Yes.
He agreed.
The narrative mistakes the Wheel of Time made were much more egregious.
No shit. No shit. Oh my God. And Sanderson is sitting there right there next to him, and he's the executive producer of the Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's saying a lot here. Like, I know people are pissed off. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Nathan. Go, please.
No, he's in agreement with it, which again furthers my point of the number that they're putting to this doesn't match up with anything they're saying.
Nothing does. This fully vindicates now, and I state this, it's still an opinion, that Amazon utterly misrepresented the ratings of not just the Rings of Power, but the Wheel of Time. They were artificially fortified. We did videos on the day they released that, and it fell from almost 4.75 to 2.4 or 2.3. And that, I mean, come on. We're living in a manufactured reality. We're an incredibly vocal minority that's being very well funded by people who want this ESG score shit to be reality. And the majority, and I'm talking over 90% of all of us in Western civilization, don't want any of this shit. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. I'm going to calm down.
Steve, 21 people watching right now. Congrats,
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, guys.
Don't forget to leave a like button and join the Dragon Sworn. You know why? It's made me a better person. Like, I have lost weight
Oh my God.
within the last couple weeks
God.
because
you look beautiful. Beautiful.
I have lost weight in the last couple weeks because I've joined the Dragon Swarm. All that fire,
Your skin's cleared up.
all that fire in my body has melted the fat.
It's better than proactive. Your skin's cleared up.
And
I'm so
Daniel,
sorry. I derailed
look
this.
at Daniel's comment. It says, "I'm going to lose my freaking mind."
Yeah.
Daniel, when I yell like this, when I'm losing it, and this goes back to when I was watching Wheel of Time live, it is not an act. People used to accuse me in my comment section, "Oh, you're faking it. Nobody gets that upset about something as stupid as a TV show." And it's like, have you watched Star Trek fans? Have you watched Star Wars fans? I mean, look at the people in the Snyderverse. We are fans, and these things touch us deeply. Not only that, but this is intellectually dishonest.
Sorry, Mr. Clark's making me laugh because we're poo-poo doo-doo guys. So it's okay. I'm used to being a poo-poo doo-doo dang, a bunch of dog. What was it? This whole stream is a bunch of dang doo-doo. It's okay. I'm a doo-doo head. It's okay. And Daniel, I just want to say, Daniel, real quick, and maybe if you want, I'll throw you an invite here. So you can say your piece if you want. So let me know. I know you're
bring him in. Bring him in.
Come on in, Daniel. Come on in.
I don't I don't know. I don't feel like I'm giving him a pass. I think he's saying some stuff here. That's all I'm saying. I think he's saying some stuff that he I don't think he should be sugarcoating his reviews. I think he is 100%, but I think some stuff is coming out here that I'm not sure that he realizes he's saying. I think some real feelings he might be having on the backside of some of these things are coming out, and they sound a lot worse to what he said prior. And I think this should just be his opinion. I don't think he should be sugarcoating his opinion about the stuff that sucks, because it sounds like he's saying it sucks, but then he's saying, well, I want to watch it anyways, which isn't okay. So I'm right there with you. I'm not giving him a pass. He should just step up and say, hey, it's crap, because that's sort of what he's saying here. Like, that's all I'm hearing so far is him talking about how crappy all this shit is. So why? So why are you then saying, well, I want to watch more of it? Well, it doesn't sound like I want to watch more of it.
He has to. He's probably still signed on as producer of this show. He still probably has credits for season 2.
He wants to watch more of Rings of Power. He has nothing to do with Rings of Power. He said he wanted to watch more of Rings of Power.
He doesn't mean it. But
then why is he
saying Amazon? Because it's Amazon. I mean, he basically just unzipped his fly and peed all over Jeff Bezos's back. He did. Okay? But what he's not willing to do is then stab him. Okay? But what he has done is, as a major fantasy writer, has said this was terrible, and you guys got $60 million an episode. Now, do I want him to completely disavow this like it's a North Korean communist?
I feel like we're saying the same thing. That's all.
We are, but I'm just saying he's done it.
So I don't know. I don't know. Because I see. I feel like you're saying it, and I feel like I just sort of said that. I wish he would. He's saying a lot with that, and I don't think he realizes it. So, and I think there's a look he gives here in a second that even speaks more volume. So Daniel, if you want to hop in there, let me know. I'll send you a linky poo. Just say something in chat.
Hold the phone. Zach's just hooked me up with something.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. I'll jump it back. Everybody subscribe to Zach 7 while I do this stuff, but don't stop the show for me. This is circling back to the Warhammer 40K thing.
Oh wow, okay. You're not dude, man. Who cares, man? This is a profit stream. We're having fun. We're raging on. I'm gonna
this is important.
I'm even gonna change that to the rager. I would like you to see his face here, Salty. So I'll wait a few minutes, but thank you guys.
No, don't wait for me.
Okay,
don't wait.
Let me play this here. All right, so we're close to the end of this. So here we go.
I would agree with that. Though they had a harder job, I think.
They did.
Smaller budget, and I would say that
a much larger story.
A book they had to adapt rather than we can basically do anything we want.
So then there's the excuse tour, which pisses me off.
Absolutely. They had a much steeper hill to climb.
Bullshit. Yes. Disagree.
They had a worse hand. They didn't play it as well as I would have liked.
Yep.
True.
Ultimately, for me, Rings of Power is still a 7 or even an 8 out of 10.
There you go.
I don't even think Brian can mimic that face.
Oh, somebody get the sex spot. Leave a like, girls. 69
Wow,
XYZ.
that's hot.
sorry.
That's hot.
Nice.
Wow.
So
That's the face that Sanderson's making for the sex
there's his
spots.
face for 6. So that's so this is and that little bit is what pisses me off about all this. We say it's crap, and then the excuse tour comes through, and then we move on. So had a much harder job because they're adapting. No, having 14 books to pull from should make your job fucking easier because you have the whole fucking story. So how is it going to make it? How is it harder when you have exactly what you need to make a goddamn epic fucking 10 season show?
Harder
when
to
it's
put
right fucking there.
trannies in climate change, in eating bugs, in communism, in neo-Marxism into that world, Steve. Don't you understand?
Well,
That's
Lady
what's important.
Balefire is a dragon sword, so eat it. No, it's just thank you for joining, Lady Balefire. Thank you for being a dragon sword. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. What did Daniel say? What did Daniel say? Is he being shy? You don't have to be shy.
He said he didn't want to derail.
All right. Well, if you want to, you're not derailing anything.
What is there to derail, dude?
Yeah, we're already
rails
derailed.
already.
So I'm in a second. I'm gonna send you a link if you want to hop in. It's your call. But that's the thing that pisses me off about this whole thing is the excuse tour, the money. They had plenty of money.
True.
We don't know what they did with the money. The money they had, we have no idea where it went. You have pages and pages and pages of source material to draw from. It should be easier. I think making up something off the top of your head with nothing to draw from is the harder job. So I can't believe I'm making an excuse for Rings of Power, but I think it would be harder to do Rings of Power than it was Wheel of Time because all you got to do is pull out of the books. So this is backwards.
Agreed.
Well, it comes back down to the video that's been replayed a lot in that interview, the behind the scenes interview with Peter Jackson about we didn't want to put in our own personal ideas about Lord of the Rings. We wanted Tolkien to speak for himself. They didn't want to have Robert Jordan speak for his own material. They wanted to put in their own ideas and shove in all of their ideology and remove everything that was good about Jordan's work. That's been the rule of thumb from the get-go, and they did the same thing to Rings of Power when they're taking this whole nebulous area of the Second Age, and they're shoving in everything that they want. They want Galadriel to be completely different than what she was in the books. They want her to be everything short of having a penis.
Yeah,
and so they're going to shove all this in there.
And it's not just Amazon, Disney, Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, freaking Halo. Tell me a show or a franchise, Star Trek, Nerdporia. You can school us all on Kurtzman Trek. You know what I mean? And trace where the people came from who are put in the positions of producing and leading the entertainment companies that make this. We now know what Henry Cavill is going to be up against, thanks to Zach 7, the article he just shared with me, and who's leading Vertigo Entertainment right now. You will not believe the connections, and we'll jump out of this. But again, I am not trying to destroy your will to live or your sanity. We just need to not tell ourselves lies. And Natalie Viscuso's tapped to oversee TV role for Roy Lee's Vertigo Entertainment. She got this role back in May. Now, why is this important? Well, she used to work for Legendary, where she was vice president of television and digital studios, and she worked on Dune: The Sisterhood, Taika Waititi's The Auteur for Showtime, Bruja for Audio Max. She also has projects and developments for Hulu, Peacock, and Prior. Prior to her time at Legendary, she held a role at Weinstein and Company.
Here we go.
Who else?
So
are you noticing
picture?
this? Yeah, are you? Yeah. The picture should be terrifying. This is run like hell. SJW, you are way too young, sweetheart. How did you get this role? And yes, I know that sounds terrible, but sometimes things that sound terrible are also true.
So this is the person running 40K? Is that what you're telling me?
This is the person that will be responsible for the 40K launch for Vertigo and overseeing it as a vice president.
Does she even know what Warhammer is?
No,
She doesn't look
I guarantee it. She doesn't.
It's important to understand, guys, what has Vertigo done? What has Vertigo created? They did the CBS version of The Stand.
Got canceled.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yeah. But Amber Heard. Daniel, you're here.
Yes. It's good Salty had that aside because I needed a second to calm down.
I was you know why?
You know how else, brother.
Do you know what else that girl's famous for? She was a star on MTV's show My Sweet 16.
Nice.
And then went on to work for Harvey Weinstein.
Oh. Wonder how she got that job.
Boy. Yeah, I wonder. Daniel, say your piece, brother. I want to hear what you got to say.
I wanted to touch on what Nathan just said right before that, which was about not using someone else's work, someone else's IP. And Brandon Sanderson went on, and I just listened to him because I just did the entire series a few months ago. And he went on about what a hero Robert Jordan was to him and what a huge he was so grateful to have that opportunity to finish off the series. And this drives me nuts. He introduced a gay Ashaman into Memory of Light. And if you know the character, it's the Ashaman who was actually a noble and then pretending he wasn't. And this, I am 100% sure that this is not something Robert Jordan had planned. He had plenty of opportunity throughout the entire series to introduce characters like this, never did. And the closest everyone knows ever was Pillow Talk. So this is Brandon Sanderson introducing, even back then, he was playing footsie with the agenda. And he felt the need to, on his own, introduce the gay, just the idea of it into a book series where it did not exist. It would have been like someone introducing it into Tolkien. And I don't want to hear crap about how I don't like, anything to do with gay stuff. Erasure is my favorite band. I've seen Andy Bell live multiple times. I love him dancing flamboyantly on stage. I have nothing against gay people in the arts. I love that. Another one of my favorite series.
Freddie Mercury.
Yes. Mercedes Lackey is another one of my favorite series. And there's a character in there called Danielle, who's a gay main character of a trilogy. Huge fan of this series. But if that is the original material, then go for it. But this is not part of the original material of Wheel of Time, and Brandon Sanderson introduced it there. So I have no patience for his playing around with these people. He thinks that he can somehow play like a 4-dimensional chess with Hollywood, and he can't. He can't. He is not going to be able to, just like you just mentioned with this. I was actually going to do my own video about 40K. You cannot play games with these people. They know what they're doing. They will completely surround you, overwhelm you. He should do his oown thing, like you said, Steve. He should do his own thing. He has the ability to do it. He has the organizational skill. He's got the mental acuity. He could do his own thing, but he doesn't want to.
He has the infrastructure too. He has it all. He has it all.
He does. And so but the fact that he would, the introduction of an Ashaman into Wheel of Time, which is not his property. He was supposed to revere this property and treat it as something that he was like an infant that you were given to hold on to. It's not yours, that you're just going to cradle and protect because that's your job. And he's looking at this, my hero, Robert Jordan, he's passed, and I need to finish this as if it was him and do it with extreme care and caution. He talks about this when he describes the job he was given to finish this series. And he does that. And I'm sure he's thinking, this is just a little side character. It's not a big deal. I can just kind of insert this. But that's his modernity. That is his. Yes. Why does someone who is supposedly from where he is from and the religion that he's from have the need to even do that in the first place? Because even back then, he was feeling the need to play these Hollywood games. That's my piece.
Okay, that's a good point.
Spot on, man. Like I agree 100%. I think
Those are good
yeah.
points.
No, I have nothing. I have nothing to say. I think you're 100% on the money.
Your emotion is genuine, and it's not just raw emotion. You present reasons why, and those reasons are not just emotionally infuriating; they're intellectually infuriating. And when those two things merge, it really becomes crazy because you end up going in a circle, going, why would you do, like, why? And the answer, there's no answer except essentially what Daniel just said. Someone felt the need to do this and make it about them when it was never about them. I think we're seeing that now dialed up to 11 with just about every other damn thing out there. But I also think it's to make up for the fact they don't have any talent in Hollywood right now. So, yeah.
But it adds to it kind of helps explain why we're seeing such a cognitive dissonance between what they're saying and the number they're giving to everything. It's because they don't really care to make those connections. All they want to do is they're going to present. I think either Daniel or someone else said it in the chat earlier. Is they're just putting the number out there that's going to give them coverage because that number is going to make the headline, so to speak, while everything they say will just be kind of washed over because that's what's
Yes.
even though that's the real meat, they just want the facade.
Nathan
And
nailed it.
that's what the Star Wars, the Obi-Wan thing, before the damn show even came out. And they're calling us all racist because they made a character which is non-canon, which destroys Kenobi and supplants Kenobi. But we're seeing that where they don't even wait for the show to come out, where they start to push the narrative that Nathan just talked about, which is related to what Daniel is saying. It's to create some type of buzz and to get us to respond and say, that's not it. And that's not this. And then they say, look at the racists. And then there's their marketing plan, because it sure as shit isn't. Here's the Obi-Wan Kenobi you remember and love. Here's Luke Skywalker. It's not that. They can't do that. So they play this idiotic, manipulative game like idiots in junior high.
You know what that is? That's like when people say, with all due respect, I hate your guts. Just say I hate your guts. It's not intellectually honest. It drives. If someone says with all due respect, just discount anything they say after that. And the whole, Nathan, what you said is they go on and on and on. The show sucks. It's terrible. The writing is garbage. I give it an 8 out of 10. And you're right. That's just a way to disclude everything they said previously and have the number be the actual headline. And
Well,
so
yeah,
yeah.
Well, the excuse tour, it's like the wheel. They just said the wheel of time sucks, but they had a. It was tough. It was really hard. So they did a great job with the difficulties that they had to overcome.
Who cares? They got paid. Who cares? They got paid.
Well, not only they get paid, but
do your fucking job.
These are made up difficulties. There's no you have it. It's right there.
Yes.
There's no difficulty.
And I said this probably episode 2 reviewing Wheel of Time. If your job is not to provide fan service and adequately adapt Robert Jordan's world into a recognizable adaptation, then what was your job? What was Rafe Judkins hired for? I said this last year at this time. We now know what Rafe Judkins was hired to do. He was hired to insert transhuman agenda and ESG bullshit into Wheel of Time. I was not being paranoid. Why? Because he proved he could do it with an $80 million budget of Wheel of Time, so he was given Uncharted to make a major motion picture of a game franchise to do what? To emasculate men and insert ESG into that major franchise. His reward for that is now to do that for Amazon for yet another video game, God of War. Okay,
gay Kratos,
guys. It is not conspiracy thinking. It is not being insane to say the Emperor has no clothes. And if your job is not to run a show, to adapt it, it is not an adaptation. And we are not crazy for calling you out.
Don't stop calling these adaptations. You're not adapting anything. You're just taking a title and doing whatever the fuck you want with it. We already know that's what they're doing with Wheel of Time season 2. We've seen enough. We've heard enough.
It's not even the books. They're not even.
They're not even doing any of it. They haven't even kept that a secret. And then to have like we watched before when we started, to have that piece of crap have the audacity to say that 70% of people that have read everything think it's better. To say that. How could you say that how could you even think that it's better than the books? You think
Maybe
your piece of shit show is better? Fuck
maybe
off.
in my opinion, maybe in my, and this is just an opinion and it is mine and does not reflect anyone else on this panel's. Maybe Rafe Judkins is such a horribly damaged individual that
Who
everything
isn't
he's
in
doing,
California?
that everything he's doing aligns with some seriously unresolved daddy issues and other issues. Okay. And I've said this before, and I don't say that to be cruel. But when you look at pathology and maladaptation from unresolved trauma, okay, the need to seek approval, you end up being a very amoral person so that the ends justifies the means. Now, that is an opinion, but goddamn, it's sure looking like that. It's looking like that for a lot of these people in Hollywood. It really is.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't have an explanation. I wish we would. I don't know. I would love to get back to the time where I can sit down and watch TV and enjoy what I'm watching. There's very few shows out there. I think I'm right there with Notorio. Unfortunately, I'm sort of black-pilled with anything new. I expect it to be bad, and if it's good, it's a surprise. It's why like a show like The Peripheral hurt me so bad, because I didn't expect anything out of it. I started hearing it was good. I agreed it was good at the beginning, started looking forward to it, and then all of a sudden I get a giant shit burger and glasses flying everywhere because they have a glass fear, so they're gonna break all the glass on the planet. Because
they didn't even bother with a fucking disclaimer. They didn't even bother saying no glass was hurt during the production.
Yeah, I know. They destroyed all of it, all the glass. Like, watch out,
assholes.
Glass. Run.
How could they not?
Yeah, I don't know. So
there's a contrary point to that, Steve, and you and I shared that joy in near real time, and that was Stranger Things season 4.
Oh my gosh, that was an awesome season.
Right?
It's like we had we had good stuff this year. We had Stranger Things 4. We had Better Call Saul's final season.
Yep. Oh yeah.
The Orville is a mixed bag for me. It wasn't bad, but it was.
With Orville.
I didn't like I don't like the direction that they're going in if they continue it.
Yeah, Cobra Kai I think was
Cobra
pretty
Kai
good.
Awesome.
I mean,
was real good.
Terry Silver, the best villain on the planet.
Best villain on the planet, and you know what?
Yeah. Northman,
love it.
Top
Northman.
Northman was great.
I mean, like, man, like those are all shows. Like, can you think of besides for that a movie that came out that you're like, well, besides for that,
the
Northman and Top Gun.
The Northman,
Top Gun, yeah, Top Gun was really good. But I mean, that's the whole year.
I'm going to say this again. Yeah. Batman could have been a legendary movie. It could have been a beautiful one-off, but it like everybody else has said, the damn thing needed to end a half an hour before it did. Like it really didn't know when to quit. And it could have been a masterpiece. You know, it really could have been. Instead, it just ended up to be a bloated horseshit studio interference thing.
Yeah. So
wow. Dropping hard truth here. I agree.
It started really strong. Episode 1 was a great episode. Episode 2, there were issues. We talk about it. We talk about it on my my show. Sorry, I'm showing for myself again. But yeah, there were issues, but there were things I really liked. I mean,
I don't know.
I couldn't get past like episode 5. I stopped.
Yeah, episode 4 was the one where they go to Krill and they had the pop. What do you call it? Populism. That I was just like, okay, you're kind of reaching. Okay, no, you are reaching.
I hope they didn't, because I would blow. I would love to explode Dawkins all over the place like glass in The Peripheral. That's how I feel about. That's how I feel about Dawkins. How The Peripheral.
Here's Dempsey. Oh, there he is. Dawkins greater than Rings of Power.
I think we got through this whole. Oh, there you go. That's how I feel about Dawkins. Look at Brandon Sanderson's face. That's Dawkins.
Dawkins needs no new album. They've already made the best music ever made, Steve. The sooner you embrace
Dawkins,
that, the sooner you find
that. I don't know about that. Like, I don't know. It's one of those like the Orville. I don't know. I don't know how to feel, because I didn't. It was okay, but like
there were things
Charlie.
That they put
Charlie,
in.
I can get. Charlie just drove me nuts. So
I mean, I was okay with Charlie in the beginning, but then as the episodes went on. I mean, she's nowhere near as like as unlikable as like say character like Lon Noonien Singh from Strange New Worlds. You know,
Your favorite show.
Lon.
Your favorite
I
show.
don't. I think her name rhymes with another character. And then she bitches. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant right here. She bitches about her ancestor. Does that sound familiar to you? Does that sound familiar? You know how people hate their, you know, people are like, oh, people back then were terrible. We're great. We're enlightened now, you know.
It's 2022.
This show.
Yeah.
You have a great chat today. I just want to shout out chat. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for breaking our balls and calling us out and being contrarian. I could never get into the Orville. I just can't. That doesn't mean other people can't be. We also had Dempsey calling out.
It was brilliantly shot this season. The music was great. Like it felt like, you know, the original 6 Star Trek movies quality. It's just the
story. Just the story.
I mean, like okay, the populism one was bad. The one with the one with creepy Havina, you know, the woman Mocklin. That I was like, because I liked her character. Like she was one woman that was, fighting for freedom, and but then she became all creepy, putting a child in danger. That was episode 8, I believe.
I remember.
And then episode 9, they made a Super Mario Galaxy looking weapon, Super Mario Galaxy 2 looking weapon, just shoot out a field, and it destroys all of the Kalon ships. And so they not only that, but they made the Kalon members of the Union in the next fucking episode, or the same fucking episode. Like it's like making the White Walkers members of the High Council in Game of fucking Thrones.
All of that is transhuman.
Why?
All of that is
it worse to be? Is it worse to be to be based on conservatism? Seriously, fuck,
man.
The end of season 2. The end of season 2. They were allied with their ideological opponents. Bringing people together, forming that. But then the whole populism thing broke that apart. I'm like,
yes.
What are you trying to fucking say?
That's transhumanism. That's the agenda. That's ESG. That's all the same shit. And that's why when I heard you talking about it, I was like, holy fuck, they got the Orville too. They got the Orville too.
That's why, I've told this. I love Orville Nation. He's such a great channel. PJ's such an awesome guy. He had freaking, what's his name from the 24 on not Joel. I forget the guy that created 24, Joel Cerno or I forget his name.
Yeah, Joe Sterner.
But
yeah, sure.
But and like everybody's so enthusiastic about the Orville, and just seeing this stuff. And we've had better YouTubers, better Brandon Anime guy. Clobbering Times. They all brought the same shit up. Like all the criticisms, in my opinion, are valid. So as much as New Horizons, it was entertaining. I don't care if I honestly don't care if it continues at this point, because I don't see it. I don't see it going I don't see it getting better at this point.
It sucks, but it's better than getting your heart broken. It's like leaving a bad relationship. And I hate to keep doing this, but you're with somebody that you think should be the love of your life, and you've done everything for them. You keep being so understanding, and yet they keep cheating on you and stealing your money and calling you names. And then one day you wake up and you go, I can't do this anymore. And you walk out the door, and it hurts and it sucks for a while. But then one day you wake up after you've broken up, and you're like, thank God I didn't spend one more minute living a lie.
That's how I felt that's how I felt about some jobs, some jobs that I've had.
Oh yeah.
It gets really nerve-wracking to as you're approaching something like that, or you feeling like your job's in jeopardy. But then once you're done, once the deed is done and you're separated, oh my gosh, it's such a weight off of your heart, your shoulders, your head, and there's nothing to do with dandruff.
Dempsey's right. Dempsey's right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna say that we could honestly, Dempsey, we could write a better show. As a matter of fact, if you gave me $80 million and let me pick my own crew, I can guarantee you we would triple the money. We would.
Hell yeah.
And you know how we do it? We would open up Joseph Campbell's Hero with 1,000 Faces and put the 12 steps to the hero's journey on the wall, and then we'd have a 3-act play.
I just gotta say, I gotta get Gray on here for something because I got Nerdporial to say fuck about like 8 times, and
I'll vamp
so
for you.
happy.
I have a legitimate question for Gray once he gets here though, because I watched his live stream with his brother.
Oh, I don't know if he's gonna. You can come on here if you want. We're off the rails a little bit. I'm not even sure if I don't even
Can
sure
I ask
if
Gray?
he finished what he said.
Can I ask?
Yeah,
Gray a
ask him.
question?
Go.
Gray,
Yeah.
I saw you and your brother had an awesome live stream talking about tabletop games and Dungeons and Dragons today, and you all. I'm thinking about adopting a cat. It's a black cat, and I don't know if you or your brother.
Don't you dare on my stream.
Can think of a good name for that cat. And remember, the cat is black. And I didn't know if Lovecraft or any other famous writer came up with a really good name for a cat. Put it in the chat if so. But I just thanks for letting me ask.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, don't you dare say it. Let me see if we're done with this. I think we are, but let me see here real quick.
Because I
An 8 out of 10.
loved it.
An 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Well, if your enjoyment of it is an 8 out of 10,
yeah.
you don't have to justify that. Right?
It did dumb stuff
You do?
left and right. But I've kind of been conditioned to expect that in my fantasy television.
Wow.
This is an
Holy
author.
shit. What
I
the
want to party
fuck?
with this guy. I want to party with this guy. Oh my God.
Did I just really hear that?
Could you imagine a chef who was like a 5-star chef and he's like, well, they use some rat turds and some rabbit feces and it's utterly disgusting. But it was really good. Would you go eat at this guy's restaurant?
Conditioned.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What is he? He's an author. What is he saying? Does he not have
Just
standards?
told you. He just said
No.
these guys are dropping some truth here. Okay. I'm being conditioned to expect this. This man is a writer. He picks his words carefully. He's telling us what I and so many other people on this panel and other YouTubers have been saying. You're being conditioned to accept shit.
Yeah.
And that
That's
shit
exactly
is a transhuman agenda. So this is a really interesting video. It's a really interesting video.
Yeah, there was a lot more. Well, I think we're close to it, but I can't believe he just said that. That is nuts.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, I'm the guy who put Speed Racer as a 10 out of 10, purely out of the fact that I just love it. So I have no ground to stand on in challenging, but an 8? Come on.
It probably doesn't deserve an 8. I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
And yeah, I wish that it was better than it is.
Why? Why do you wish that?
Way to take a stance there, pal.
But what is
But
there in
I
the
wish-
show to wish that it's better? Why
I
would
wish
you
it
wish
was
that?
better, but I'm conditioned for shit. So who gives a shit? I mean, but I still loved it. It's like, how
This
are you
is what it is. This thing is just, it is what it is. We're being conditioned. That is what Disney, I mean, honest to God, please look this up on your own. Disney hosted an ESG conference back about 10 years ago, where most entertainment companies came and they talked about ESG and how they were going to revolutionize entertainment. The very first Disney Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, was the first manifestation of what we have seen throughout every effing show since.
I think it goes earlier than that. You got Star Trek Into Darkness.
That was dog shit, wasn't it?
That's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, especially when Uhura shushes Kirk when they're on a an
Yes.
away mission. Remember that?
But
Remember that?
J.J. Abrams, but where did J.J. Abrams' acolytes go? Like him spewing his seed in a whorehouse. His people went into how many different places? Went into Star Trek, went into Marvel, went into the Rings of Power to go and infect it with this shit. And now, why did Henry Cavill lose to the DCEU? Why is Henry Cavill not Superman? It has nothing to do with James Gunn running shit. J.J. Abrams they're still going to do what J.J. Abrams wanted with that Superman, with that racist guy making a racist Superman. Nothing has changed. They're just putting a different polish on the same turd. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think let's see what they have to say. We're pretty close. I don't know. I'm looking at what people dip down on. They're almost done with this part, so I think we'll stop after that.
Now, let's point out for both, in the defense of both Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings, season 1 of Next
go.
Generation, one of the greatest shows of all time, is probably like
Season
a 4.
1? Heck no, but still.
So season 1. So
No.
any you
No.
know, Next Generation fans,
This is
season
no.
4 is a season or season 1 is a 4.
I'm gonna
What
blow
do
my
you think?
top.
Wait,
No.
what?
Blow my top.
So season 1 of the TNG is what he said, right?
Yeah.
Is he using the same scale and saying that Rings of Power is a 7 and that TNG season 1 is a
Yes.
4?
That's what
No
he's saying.
fucking way.
I
that's
agree.
what
No,
no, that's not
Sorry.
fair at all.
That's
And
exactly what he's saying. Yes.
And the other problem is you can't compare apples to apples on this one because TNG had an established universe, okay, where people had certain expectations, and then there was a 20-year gap, okay, or no, it was almost 30-year gap, I think, but then you end up with the Rings of Power, which was going backwards into a world that was already built and creating a world which in no way could have actually become what it was that the future became. TNG went forward from where Kirk was. Okay. I don't know. Nerdporial, are you buying this or do you think I'm full of shit?
Oh no, I totally I agree. I mean, this is a false equivalency by a long stretch. Like season 1 of TNG, as much as you had an asshole show writer, Maurice Hurley, who was just, I mean, they were doing a shitty job with scripts.
Yes, they were.
But it was still unique. It was still original, and the show tried its best to be its own thing. That's why it was so far removed, not just time wise, but like they didn't even cover the races. Like that's why you barely see Vulcans. You barely see any of the the usual races from the original series. They tried to be as new as possible, but then once season 3 hit, then they really started grinding with the Klingons, the Romulans, and a whole bunch of other great concepts. And of course, it's all comes down to the writer. So that's a false equivalency. Like they cared. They like the original series. TNG they were very strict about scripts. Like they wrote. They had writers come in. They would write the episodes. They would do an outline first. They redo the outline. Then if they liked the outline enough, they would have the same writer write the script or the teleplay or whatever. Then they give them a chance to rewrite it. And then Mr. Roddenberry would come fucking swooping in and then rewriting the shit out of it 1, 2, 3, 4 times until it was consistent with the rest of the episodes. So I mean, a lot of fucking work went into writing Star Trek.
The most important thing is, did TNG undo any of the canon? Did it crap on?
They did not. They
Star
added
Trek?
to it.
Exactly. And I was 17 when the first season of TNG came out. I was in high school, and we used to every week, because you had to wait every week and then sit through commercials to watch this thing live. And it was rough sledding. People did not like Jean-Luc Picard. They did not like it. Everybody loved Riker.
Englishman.
Everybody loved Riker.
Heck,
but I mean, it was a startling. Yes.
Yeah, they originally hired a French actor with full head of hair to play Picard. Yep. And I'll be honest, that would not have been Picard.
No. But I mean, did the show take some time to figure out what it was? Yes, for the reasons Nerdporial said, and it had to do with the stories, but also the actors not sure who they needed to be.
That's true.
You could see it. And again, that was 17-year-old me. That's a long time ago.
There's another aspect of it. There was no social media back then, but did they come out in season 2 and say, F you all, we're going to keep on doing what we did in season 1 even harder? You fans suck. You eat it.
No.
That's what they do with all this now. They just double down, triple down, quadruple down and everything.
They acknowledged that it was a change. And if I remember correctly, they apologized for it being an uneven first season. And then you know what? It got better. Do you know why?
Cool.
Because constructive criticism allows you to actually make a better product.
Yes.
And that's why all of this shit, like what we have now, where we've got Rafe Judkins threatening fans and all this other stuff, and then saying, well, fuck you, we're not even going to try and tell the story of book 2 and book 3. We're just going to make it whatever Rafe Judkins says. I mean, like literally, it's the height of narcissism. We can say it's woke, it's ESG, all this other shit. At the end of the day, these shows are not about the intellectual properties at all. It's just about the message. That's all it is. And so if you just it can't hurt you anymore if you go, this is not the world. This doesn't matter. This is bullshit. And then you have to go do something. Build a birdhouse, go take a walk in the woods, play Monopoly. I don't know, build a model, because that's what I'm doing with my time. I mean, I bought more damn models because I plan on building models and doing stuff and being in the woods. Because F these clowns and the transhumanist shit. I'm not going to let them get in my headcanon. Like The Witcher, it's over. Like, I'm not going to deal with it anymore.
Gray, I think that's right. Can you imagine making a series out of spite? And I feel like that's what's happening everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
agree.
Let me see. Let's see where we're at. I think we're pretty close to
Worse
wrapping.
than that. Season 1 is a
There's
3.
a lot more in
Season
this.
3 maybe is a 4.
So he's throwing more shade at TNG, calling season 3 a 3.
No,
No,
that's
no.
bullshit.
You want me to
That's
go back
great.
here? I'll go back.
It's one of the
I'll
best
go back.
Star Trek seasons
All
of
right,
all
cool.
time.
Here we go.
Of all of them.
Here we go. Listen to it again.
It's probably like a 4.
Oh, worse than
Yeah.
that. Season 1 is a 3,
Yeah.
and season
Oh, it's-
3 maybe is a 4.
By season
2.
no.
Yeah,
Season
okay.
3 is when it gets good.
Oh, okay. He corrected
Is
it.
this
He said-
out of
Okay,
5 or
good.
10?
All right.
but he
Okay.
said
All right.
two.
Fine.
So he said 2 suck 2 of TNG.
Is this out of 5? What's their rating? Is this out of 5 or out of 10?
10.
10.
No
Out
one
of
knows.
10.
It's out of 10.
I'm pretty
But-
sure.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
Here's the thing.
nobody
Bullshit.
knows. Nathan,
Bullshit.
go ahead. Nathan, go ahead. Dude, what?
I've never. I was never a big fan of TNG. You know, I was never a big fan of it. But having seen bits and pieces of it, I automatically know, even though I haven't watched it in 30 fucking years, that it's infinitely better than the bullshit that we just watched over the summer.
Gray is triggered.
Infinitely
Gray is
better.
triggered. Sorry, Nathan. Go ahead. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
no,
not.
he's-
It's not even.
Gray
It's
is.
crazy. Sorry, keep going.
They were using out of 10 earlier, so I'm assuming
Yes.
that
Oh,
they're
it's-
That's the
continuing.
it's
same
10.
scale. It's
Yeah.
10. It's
Because
10
it's
for sure.
it's out of
Season
10
three,
because
the
they're trying.
season that brought us yesterday's Enterprise, the season that brought us the freaking Offspring, which makes me fucking cry to this day.
This
The
is-
season
this
that
is
brought us Sins of the Father. You're gonna tell me
Yes.
that's a 4 out of 10?
I
Dude,
remember
you're a fucking
watching
moron.
those live. I watched those every week, and I was in community college by season 3, and we all got together and ordered Domino's pizza, collected our little bit of money for making minimum wage to all of us nerds sit around and watch season 3. And we're like, my God, this is Star Trek. This is so good. You did not miss season 3.
Everyone,
Season 1
yeah.
was uneven. Season 2 got better. Season 3 was okay. I'm
Prophet,
invested in
Steve,
these characters.
Is this why you brought me on? Because they go into
No,
they go
I
into
did. No.
talking
I
Star
did. I
Trek?
didn't even realize.
I think it
till-
is.
till
I
they
think
started-
it is. I want to believe
okay,
it is.
you got me. You got me. All right.
I
But
thought
no,
so.
this is the excuse point. It's absolutely out of 10 because this is them making excuses for the shit. They're saying,
Yeah.
you know, everybody loves TNG, but the first 2 seasons were shit. It's like, well, no, I think you remember. No. You're skewing this a little bit now because, well, you're attached to these other things.
But we've heard this before.
Yeah.
This is the same argument they used for the Rings of Power. This is an old argument the media used when the show was not well received.
I love when Gray, Prophet of the Dragon from Wakasashi Gray. Go sub to Gray. We
He
got to give him to
writes
1K.
things.
1K.
Wakasashi's Tea House. Sorry, but who is this other guy? I love how this whole everybody comes in and goes, "That's Brandon Sanderson on the left." Who's this dickhead over here? Who's
I
saying
forget
all the
what is
stupid
his name
shit?
again. Wells.
Dan Wells.
Yeah, Dan Wells. He's a science
writer of
fiction
books I've
writer,
never heard of.
also from Utah, and
boy.
of the same
Oh, so
belief
he's a
system
Mormon.
as Brandon.
Well,
So-
Brandon is.
We were avoiding using those terms, but
Nice
okay.
job,
Yeah.
Brian.
Oh,
It doesn't
sorry.
matter.
No,
All right,
no,
here we go.
it's
Let's
okay.
see.
It's obvious.
Yeah, I watched every
Okay.
episode of that first season, and I appreciate it for what it was. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, but yep. With Rings of Power,
they also didn't have $60 million per episode.
yeah. Well, the thing is, you can see
He still shits on
yes,
Rings of Power.
every penny of that on the screen.
You can.
They used their money well
Mhm.
in terms of character and budget and location and
Yeah,
and everything.
I'm going to argue that some of their armor and stuff looks real bad.
Oh,
Some.
So
wow.
You mean the one live where I saw the raw like plastic edge of the shit with like sticks of plastic hanging out? Yeah.
Fresh off the
Brandon,
3D
you're
printer.
not wrong, buddy. Oh my God. Gadfly Fiction has a great point, Steve. Is anyone getting a little bit of a sense of sour grapes here? I am.
Yes.
I kind of am.
Yeah, I think absolutely, because I don't know. It's tearing something else down that's loved to make something else look better.
That's the thing is when they tear good stuff down, because this is a technique. Salty mentioned it too, that they do. I mean, they started crapping on the original Lord of the Rings movies, Peter Jackson movies.
Because sorry, Daniel.
They can't compare, right? So when you can't compare and you can't do as good as someone else, you tear down the other person. It's petty. It works though. It's an actual tactic, and that's what they're engaging in. They themselves are engaging in it right now.
Yeah, I experienced this right away with Force Awakens versus the original Star Wars. People were tearing down the original Star Wars, saying, "Oh, the same shit happened this movie." No, it didn't.
I just don't like the double talk that we're getting. We're getting a lot of it's bad, but let's tear this down so we can make it. It's like we can we'll give Rings of Power 6, but then we'll shit all over TNG to make Rings of Power look even better, and then we'll make.
Yeah, I'm generally dismissive of these type of talks,
arguments.
I don't believe it. It's just maybe I'm just an asshole. Maybe I think this type of talk is beneath me. Just be honest.
But that's the point, though. Mm-hmm. That's the point. You can take conversations like this, and because of how disjointed it is, how disconnected it is, and how they're trying to make false equivalencies like this, you can take this conversation, immediately dismiss it, and immediately dismiss their opinions of any future discussion.
Yes, totally agree.
They are irrelevant if you have a thinking brain in your head.
Yep. Well, I mean, to be honest, you want me to consider your points, you got to earn it.
Yep. I agree. All right, let's move on. Let's see what he says.
And I feel like when we're comparing against the movie, where everything felt so authentic, they could have stretched a little further on some of this. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if you remember the armor that Galadriel was wearing when they sailed to Grey Havens. Granted, it is ceremonial armor at that point, but it looked like it was cardboard that been spray painted.
Cardboard spray painted. There you go. Six fellas with the cardboard spray painted armor.
What about the Guy Poriel?
What? Guy Poriel? What?
Yeah.
Galadriel. Well, your armor looked great.
Thank you.
And so I have a problem with some of that. Mm-hmm. But the cinematographer on this is great. They know how to frame a shot and set it up, and they knew how to use Morador's creation really well. They didn't. Constantly get.
Go ahead.
No, they didn't. I mean, the problem. Nathan, go ahead. Nathan, I want Nathan to go. Everybody, go, Nathan, and make sure you're unmuted. Make sure you're unmuted. Go.
That is absolutely asinine. That is such a stupid statement. How can you say they did the creation of Mordor well? You fucking made a mountain puke all over everything, kill everything but not kill everything, and then said it's the Southlands. No, erase. It's Mordor. Fuck off.
One thing about the Dragonsworn I could say is I've gotten better at pronouncing double R's after being part of the Dragonsworn and watching enough Rings of Power. Rings of Power.
Getting good visuals that aren't just special effects, but they're cinematic language that says this is epic. And I like that.
And there are occasional flashes of absolute brilliance in the directing, in some of the performances.
Performances are all
now and then in the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that conversation you talked about with Halbrand talking to the Uruk.
Yes.
And asking, do you recognize me?
Like legit genius moment.
Hit out of the park.
I was wondering, Steve, if these two writers were ever going to discuss the writing of the show.
I don't know. I don't know.
Somebody that just literally said regarding Rings of Power, legit genius moment.
Yeah.
Your opinion is irrelevant with the show. See you later, Brandon.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know that we need to watch the rest of this.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Yeah,
don't want
I
to.
think we're good. So because
had
I mean it baffles me because they go back and forth so many times. Like it's crazy. It's mind boggling. I don't. It's like take a stance and go with it. But obviously it's some self preservation is what I think. Right? It's like I know he said himself. I know these people. Right? So I don't know.
Somebody said there was legit genius moment of dialogue with a made up character who's not Tolkien's.
Yeah.
I don't
get
remember
it.
what was that moment. When she said she
I
had
don't
a
know. He was
tempest
talking
on
about
her?
Halbrand.
Yeah.
It was when
Halbrand.
Halbrand walked in and saw Adar and said, "Do you recognize me?" That was a legit genius moment.
Yeah.
Okay, I was probably out by the time that happened because I walked away after
You were.
season or episode
Yeah.
5
You were.
or whatever it was. Because it was so
I think that's
terrible.
why Joseph Mall left the show was because of that very moment.
Probably.
Why?
He was triggered.
Why?
He was
Yeah.
triggered.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
It just made me say this.
so I'm gonna end this poll here because we started.
Ooh, what are the
stream with
numbers?
it. The number. Let's end it right here. Let's see. It's gonna pop up for me here. So, pile of horse crap, 83%. As good as the books, 9%. Better than the book, 6%. So I don't think that's 70%.
How many votes,
better.
Steve? How
I'm
many?
that
how much
43
interaction?
out of 43 votes. So
Okay, that's
thank
pretty
you.
good.
43 votes. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay,
But,
okay, that's weird. I'm not the only one that voted better than the books. Maybe Nas did too. I'm gonna blame
Well,
Nas.
it proves
Troll.
the point. It proves the point. No, 70% of people that read the 14 books do not think your silly, crappy Wheel of Time show is better than the books. Yeah. I don't think anybody thinks, if you want to, maybe there's a few people out there that can somehow say it's as good. I don't know how. I really don't know how, but I don't think there's anybody that's read these books that could actually call themselves
The
a Wheel of
people
Time
interviewing
fan.
him, the people interviewing him, Steve, did not believe that statement.
Yeah,
And you could
he,
tell
they,
by the
them.
look on their faces.
Yeah, he, they, them. Thought maybe Brandon was being or Rafe was being disingenuous.
Yeah. So, So, well, thanks, man. This got really long. But I think we had some fun. I didn't know that. Man, thank goodness we didn't go through the whole thing. That would have been really long. But yeah. So I don't know, man. It leaves me sort of baffled. I still don't know what to think. I still wish that. I wish that Sanderson would just do his stuff on his channel and leave the other stuff alone. I know that he's right. He has the right to his opinion and all that. I get all that, but it just I would rather just hear updates and hear about his Cosmere plans and all that stuff than all this other stuff. But
I yo-yoed with Sanderson on this. I thought he was really being a hero. I thought he was really being a stand-up guy, and then the other stuff at the end, which really it wasn't just double talk. It was triple talk, and maybe that's a Hollywood thing. I don't know. And again, Brandon Sanderson, don't know him, don't know what's in the man's heart, but I think I have a lower opinion of his opinion of a lot of things now watching this. And I didn't start out wanting that. I really thought this guy was like, okay, he's got some cojones. He's got some, he's being honest. And then the stuff at the end, I don't know what to believe from any of these people.
It's all over the place, right? It's like
really
you get a lot of I'm getting whiplash. It's like you say one thing and then you say it's like, what the hell is going on here? You said yes and no in the same sentence. I don't understand. So
that's ingenuous.
Yeah. So Steve, the solution is some people don't like the books because writing style or pacing or whatever, and they also don't like the show. Well, I know there's some of that. There's some of all of it. I mean, I'm not denying there's people out there that somehow like the show. They're out there. I don't get it, but I know they're out there.
Somebody has to buy the ugly furniture in the furniture store that we all walk by. Somebody buys it. The shit that you could never imagine putting in your living room. And those people look at us and go, who would ever buy that ugly shit that I would never buy? I mean, that's how the world works,
Yeah, I guess so. But
I personally would not buy the plunger-filled toilet that Rafe Judkins likes to sit on.
I wouldn't either. And I'm starting to really not want to buy anything by Brandon Sanderson again. And I hate to say that, Steve, no disrespect. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big boy. I know how the world works. But this is kind of bullshit. I mean, crapping on TNG, and I don't.
Well, that's why I wish, and that's why I said exactly why I wish I partition myself from this stuff a lot. Is I try not to listen to some of this stuff, but because it makes it sometimes it makes it hard, and it's like, the show one was when he was talking nice about the show originally when it came out, made it really hard for me, and it's one of those that sounds how it sounds, but. I decided I like his writing. I like his stuff. So I'm gonna go with that, and I'm not gonna watch the other stuff. I'm gonna just ignore it.
Eldan brings up something really, really telling, and this is just something that we've all had to really deal with. I mean, I've had to deal with it especially with a lot of the Star Trek writers and actors and producers, even the early stuff. Just says never meet your heroes.
Oh, never meet your heroes.
You're right.
Yeah.
And Eldan, I'm not black pilled. I'm red pilled times 10. That's all it is, man. Seriously.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna, it's one of those, I'm going to continue to enjoy Cosmere and Sanderson. I'm gonna start hopefully covering it on the channel here. I'm gonna partition that stuff off. I don't know why, he's saying what he's saying for whatever reason. I'm just going to ignore it because, well, I don't know about that. I can't confirm or deny, sir. But and then we'll see what happens with the impending movie, TV show that he's going to be a part of for his stuff. Hopefully, he holds his ground. That's all. That's all I can say about that. So maybe when it's his,
I think that's where it's going to be the most telling.
Maybe when it's his, he'll care a little bit more about. Sticking to his vision. We'll see.
I need to issue a retraction before we go, and that
absolutely. I was going to go around the horn. So
Natalie Viscuso is actually Henry Cavill's girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
That does not change her history. However, I don't know if she's going to be responsible for what's going on. This came from Zach's, and I should have read it before I went live with it. No disrespect for Zach's, but I don't think they would allow a conflict of interest when you're romantically involved with somebody who's an executive producer to be on that production. But she is involved at Vertigo, so maybe she has some sway, and maybe she's part of the reason he is doing this. I don't know. Nobody knows, but it will be intriguing. I still stand by what I said about Vertigo. They may or may not do the right thing, and I think, like anything else, we won't know until we're 30 seconds into the first episode. That's it. It's not a beret, dude. It's a driving cap backwards, man. I could make it a beret. Oui, la poisson, donne-moi long, les bonnes filles. It's not a beret.
Argentina beat France today.
Messi magic. So I think that's it right there. I'm not gonna know. I'm gonna just sort of be okay. We'll see, and then if it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, then oh well. I guess it's something else I'm not gonna watch, right? So I don't know. That's the best way to go into things, but I've watched too much crap and been burned too many times now with TV that I'm just. It's hard to look forward to some things. I'm still going to I don't know. I Jack Ryan's coming out. I've liked those. I'm hoping that's gonna be good. So there's some of it still. National Treasure's out, and I'm going to destroy that shit because fuck that shit. But it's a mixed bag right now, and
it's mostly a bag of dog shit. Be honest, Steve.
It probably
there's a couple things that might not suck, and maybe there's some things that are going to suck even more than we could imagine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So no, it's true. It's true. It's like I don't know. It's just I don't know. I just it leaves me puzzled. But so thanks for being here, Reporio. I know Monday we're doing the show.
I'm so looking forward to it. You know why? Because Rafe said it's going to be great.
70%, bro. 70%. Love it, man.
I am so watching it.
Amazon said it's great.
You haven't even read all 14. Right? You're gonna love it 100% because you haven't read all. You just read the one.
If I have an aneurysm, if I have an aneurysm, somebody call the police so I don't get eaten by, vermin and I don't know, something. Just, I want to be
then the
cremated if I
Soylent
have
Green.
stroke out when we watch it. Okay.
So you got anything besides for that going on, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, I got after this, within an hour and 15, I'm going to be joining Pips on the White Cloaks.
Princess
Those
Bride, right?
beautifully toxic, those toxic real time fans. Love you guys. We're going to be watching The Princess Bride, and we're going to be watching it. And we're going to be reacting to it. And well, I mean, Pips thinks it's the greatest movie ever made, and you know what? I don't know. I haven't watched it in years. I don't know. Maybe it is. So that's going to be next. And then later this week on Thursday, I am going to be doing my final Christmas stream. It's gonna be with Mags, Magitech Mags. Y'all know her, y'all love her. We're gonna be doing the original 1947. We're talking about the original 1947 Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
good.
Cool. So we're ended off with a classic. So
sweet. And
then maybe Breath of Fire on Tuesday if Steve's up for it, And,
yeah, I think so.
And I'm going to be on a bunch of people's channels this week. I don't remember when, but I don't know. I have to keep a schedule. I have to keep a schedule.
I have no idea what's going on either. I'm completely lost. Nathan, what you got, man? Got anything going on? I was getting word for you. You look chilly in there. You doing okay?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I got this little space heater. I've got the Rage keeping me warm from all angles of the screen here. Yeah, things are fine. It's just 30 degrees. It's normal for Ohio in the winter. So but just starting to nail down some things for my Wheel of Time, how it should be done, season 1 thing that I'm working on. Outside of that, just participating in all stuff for you guys. I'm going to sympathy watch the bullshit tomorrow with you guys, hopefully. More so because I want to see the explosion occur on Nerporial.
You're gonna have to mute me and jack. You're gonna jack me out of that
stream, like from Scanner,
screaming,
like that type of head explosion, like from Scanners.
Brian, you think you know? You think Brian? You think you know, but you don't. You don't. You just. I'm not talking.
Are you calling me a sweet summer child? Is that what you're saying? I'm a
no,
sweet summer child.
No.
Because you know what? You're right. I am.
I would never do that. I would never do that. I'm just saying.
There is an over/under about. There's an over/under on how long it's going to take you to absolutely unhinge this rage monster, and it's between 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, maybe 60, because you're a much nicer person than I am.
Yeah, 60. I think
20 for me.
Yeah,
it was 20.
That's true.
We'll see. Yeah.
Oh.
So we got. We got to figure out who else coming on with us for that. But that's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
And Steve's hosting it.
I'm hosting. Yeah. So you're gonna get to see me explode some more too, but we're not gonna go like
the cream from a Hostess, because I said host,
yeah,
like cream from a Hostess Twinkie,
cupcake
is gonna explode, with
stream
cream
it through Discord and
like Prophet's Donuts and all that.
Oh, you want the donut? You're looking for there he is. He's back. There he is. Okay.
Oh. Purple wants me to say ho ho ho.
Oh man.
Just you gotta do a Christmas story style, like right in the camera. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, yeah.
Salty, what you got going on, man?
What do I got going on? I'm trying to drop videos just about every day again, just because there's some things that I care about. When there's nothing I care about, I'll probably go on a hiatus again. I had a great time today. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for having me on in the initial discussion where we discussed trying to understand where Sanderson was going. As I mentioned, I'm confused, but I think I'm less confused. You know what I mean? I hoped for the best with Sanderson, but I think I ended up, I wouldn't say in a darker place, but I ended up in a place where I think I saw some things about somebody that made me dislike that person. And that's a hard thing. I mean, I don't want to walk around with my heart full of hate. There's enough shit wrong in the world, right? But I'm glad we're here today. I'm going to be dropping a video. I'm going to be dropping a bunch of videos about things that are happening this week. I'm also going to be doing my Salty Vintage Christmas music stream probably sometime today. Not streaming over some people. If not today, then I don't know, sometime, because people really enjoyed that. Just come and hang out, listen to some music, and then I get copyright claimed and have to take the video down afterwards, but I don't care. Tuesday night might be doing a show if people are free. I don't know yet, but other than that, probably doing the Woo Woo Show with Purple on Wednesday. Thanks for having me out.
Yeah, dude, it was a blast. Daniel, man, how'd it feel to get some of that rage out? You good, man? You feeling all right?
All the scanners explosion talk, you saved a life today, Steve, because my walls would have been covered with viscera if I wasn't able to release on stream.
Oh, dude, you know, that's what we're here for.
You need a shop vac. You need the shop vac for that.
You have Daniel has a channel. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to Daniel's channel. I should have done a better job of getting links. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, you should have.
I was actually out on the way out the door to go record out in the wild today, but I got sucked into this, so that's fine. But I just want to add, with Sanderson, half a truth is 100% a lie, and I have zero tolerance for lies and liars.
Bingo.
I agree. Totally agree.
Yep. Yeah. I felt like it was a lot of. I think some of what Salty said is probably accurate. I think they said
as usual. Usual.
I think they said too much, and they had somebody waving at them to try and reel it back in a little bit, because there was a portion of that stream where they were dropping some truth bombs, and
somebody told them to dial it back.
And somebody told them to dial it back because they were going too far. So that's I think that's probably what happened. But so chat. Oh man, the donut. You say her name and she appears.
Yep,
there she is. The donut queen herself has arrived. I will probably tomorrow start playing Crisis Core again. Nos, if you're here, I know the donut squad can assemble in the morning.
The generosity war may or may not continue.
We'll see, right? Who knows? Until one of us go broke, I guess.
Wow. It's like Vegas. It's like Vegas.
Yeah, they're like, who?
Yeah. And then of course, the Wheel of Time extravaganza tomorrow, 8 Eastern on this channel. We're gonna nurse Nerporio through it, man. He's gonna join a club of he's gonna become a true Dragonsworn. We'll promote him to
so this is like hazing.
He'll get his badge of honor.
You're hazing me, aren't you?
This is your hazing. You can call yourself Asherman after
you're not gonna
even though you don't know what Asherman is.
You're not gonna make me say, thank you, sir, may I have another? And then
it's like getting your nuts caught.
I may have to call somebody to come pick you up off the floor because your TV may get destroyed and you may have holes in your wall and stuff. But I have extra keyboards because I plan on breaking at least one tomorrow. Because this show is terrible. So we're gonna do that for your guys' entertainment. We'll probably watch it through Discord, and you guys can join us as we go crazy. And I don't know if this is an open invite to anybody. So message me in Twitter. I know as it healed versus Babyface has beat me to it, but I have a special attachment in my heart to National Treasure. And that fucking show needs to be torn apart as much as possible. Yes. So I'll be ripping it apart. If anybody else is interested in helping me ripping that show apart, just send me a message on Twitter. Otherwise, I'll rage on myself because wow, what a piece of crap. So, so we've had almost 26 to 30 people for most of the stream. So thank you all for being here. And more to come. And thanks. And thank you guys all for being here. And until next time, all hail the Lord Dragon. And you guys have a great evening or day wherever you guys are. Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.